Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hey.
Little disheveled today. Little disheveled.
Little Tommy disheveled.
Yeah. You say disheveled, I say disheveled.
We're just back from a long weekend, baby.
Yeah. Long and hot.
Long, hot.
Just the way we like it.
And
So hot.
Oh
I'm
my
sure you had a
God.
blast out there on the boat, right?
Yeah, double boat. It was a double
hot.
boat. You knew we rented a second boat, right?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Oh, waste.
Yeah.
Wasty hot.
Yeah.
Kinda
And they-
figured.
And where did he go? They're like, you could have gone to a spring. You could have gone to
With
the river.
cold water.
No, you got to go to the lake. You got to go to that
Ooh,
sweet
Amoeba
jacuzzi.
lake.
Put a boat in a jacuzzi and boil the boat.
No matter how much I constantly yell about math, you cannot not think about amoebas.
Yeah.
Especially when you're jumping in a hot soup.
Are you allowed
Yeah,
to tell
it's
that story?
soupy out
Are you
there.
allowed
Hot
to tell
brown
that?
soup.
You're not telling that story, are you?
And then I'm ramming all the kids' faces into the water, which I'm sure is blowing it into their nose.
Yeah, it's going right to their brain.
When you
Yeah.
fly out of the tube, you jet blast
Yeah.
the amoeba. A lot of people think that it's falling off the tube and then you get the amoeba up your nose. The beauty of that is the water that passes through your nasal cavities, much like a Navage system that's sold on Real Radio, doesn't have time. The amoeba does not have time to stay in your nose. It rockets out. You're safe.
Someone
Completely safe.
lived with the amoeba.
Did you know that?
No, I
that?
did not know
Andrea found that yesterday as we were all
Yeah,
freaking
yeah.
out. We're all doing a Google search.
So
Everybody's
there's a
become me,
chance.
by the way. Everybody has become me, by the way, and I'm kind of mad about it. Like, remember
No.
maybe 10, 15 years ago when I was WebMD? I was little Danny WebMD, and I was all Googling everything, and you guys are like, meh, meh, meh. Well, I've grown up. I don't do it quite as bad because it's a crippling, it's ruining my life.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't do it as much because I got to have some quality of life. But everybody else around me is doing it now.
Everybody does it.
Everybody's
Yeah.
doing it now.
Anyway, let's
Let's get a little more organized here.
hope everybody had a good long 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Like we said, it was hot.
Blazing.
And I'm not going to be an old man complaining about the weather.
Already
but
are.
Look, it's
You're
Florida
past
summer.
that. You're
It's
past
Florida
that.
summer. It's hot. We get it.
It has to be record heat,
It
right?
is. I looked it up because I
Okay.
knew you were going to ask that. And I believe that we have had the hottest 2 days on record the last 2 days.
All right.
Of all world.
We should just treat it like in the winter, like up north. When you're in Nebraska, there are like certain weeks you just don't go outside
Right.
because it's negative 22
We'll
or
call
whatever.
them heat days.
Yeah,
Heat
like,
days.
you just can't. We just can't go outside. We
Yeah.
just stay in the AC and just hide from the sun.
But if you stay in the AC for too long, then you'll never make it outside because you become too tender.
yeah.
I've
Anyway,
tenderized myself being in here.
you're right.
I'm a little tender man. I need to get out there and sweat a little more, get to work.
Yeah, look, Concrete Mike does it, and he's fine.
Sam, I saw an old man
Well,
yesterday.
he starts at 2 a.m.
I saw an old man yesterday when we were driving to your house. This is like right around 3:30. So it is, I'm talking the hottest it's ever going to be. And there was an old man out here walking around that lake, and it looked like he was trying to kill himself. Like he was like, I'm going to put in all my gear,
Yeah.
and I'm going to walk around the lake to kill myself.
So
Yeah.
let's. I had this funny thought this morning. So
What if
During
girls,
your rough morning, you had a funny thought?
what
Well-
if girls had penises where their boobs are?
well, I got dressed. I put my pants on.
Backwards?
I'm like back to business, but
Business pants.
I skipped
shoes.
pants today because it was too hot.
Yeah,
It was so hot yesterday, and I'm still kind of in heat mode. I couldn't wear pants today. I was like, it's going to be too muggy. I looked on the windows of our house, and it was all fogged up, and I'm like, too much humidity, can't wear pants.
Yeah, it was too hot to grill.
No
Us,
pants.
We didn't even grill.
I'm punishing myself from a weekend of binge drinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All
because
Yeah.
I gotta clean. I gotta spend the next
Pants
couple
are-
days.
You gotta
detoxing.
clean up your act.
yeah.
Pants are like binge drinking for your legs.
Yeah.
So you're going to punish your legs. Yeah.
So I put
Heat
on
on
my business pants.
But he
my
ventilated
polo,
by keeping that polo open.
Yeah, to spice it out.
and then I walk outside to drive here. And then and for the heat, it's me like a soup. And then I'm like, oh, hot. And then
Soups all soups.
then I look over down at the end of the cul-de-sac, and all I see is so much trash.
What?
Just
Oh.
from
Yeah.
the fireworks
Yeah.
from
And the
4th
cool
of
thing
July.
is-
Because
Cool
it's a
thing-
Tuesday, yeah.
The best thing is that it's easy to pick up non-flimsy paper. Why do they make it so flimsy? The
So-
paper, you can't pick it up. It falls apart in your hands. So it's like it's actively a structure when you see it. But if you touch it, it disintegrates. And you can't put it in a trash can. And some of it's still on fire. And it's been on fire for a day.
You know, it's also easy to pick up. It's tiny, flat, as thin as like a sheet of paper, little circles everywhere. And you can't sweep them because
And every old...
the broom goes over them. They don't get under, so you have to go down there with my numb fingers and pick up little circles.
And every Eddie Bauer edition 1996 Ford Explorer cherry red that drives down Tom Street is driving over 1,000 snap and pops that never made it. They never got popped. It is
So I look down and just the amount of trash is astounding, right?
And we did less than we've ever done. It was an efficient display.
And we cleaned up all the big stuff that we could just pick up, whatever all the cakes and all the the big pieces of plastic, and we put them in the trash. But all the tiny stuff is just littered. And so I look down there. I'm like, I can't leave this like this because when my neighbors go to work, they're gonna be like, oh God, like clean up your, because I would say that, like, don't just leave your trash.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I get out
And
there.
it's also, I also like, hold on, I have to point this out.
Okay.
I also like that it's the convenient distance away from your house where you really can't see it. So your house looks freaking beautiful, and then down to the cul-de-sac, it's like walking into a whole different area.
So in front of Crystal's mom's house,
Yeah.
and then all the other neighbors that I know, and
In front of the house, before it was cleaned, it was like when they're sweeping all the veggies in San Francisco. I mean, it was a pile of garbage.
So I go down there with a tiny dustpan and a broom and a brown bag.
A brown bag. A paper bag.
Yeah, a paper bag. And then I got there.
That's not going to work.
I'm just pouring sweat.
Oh.
Like, so much sweat that it's falling
And
on
now
the trash.
this is you in your jeans and
Yeah,
your
yeah,
black
yeah.
polo.
That means he's
Wow.
getting those mud butt boxers where you
Yeah.
get your boxers
Oh,
soggy
man.
wet. Like
Yeah. So then I'm lucky that
you're gonna
my
look
neighbors
like you jumped in a pond
My
trying
neigh-
to get away from the police.
my neighbors start going to work and they're seeing me clean up
Hey,
this.
thanks for cleaning up your trash.
And then I'm waving at them. I just want them to see me
you,
do it
yeah.
because
it's all about being seen. It's the accountability. It's like
Yes.
it's like when Linda Bird used to have those big meetings and she'd say, "I better see you there." I would always make a point of going up to her and saying hi. That way she knew I was there, and then I would leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You gotta
so,
be seen.
Oh.
Just nonstop.
Are you using,
sweat,
like-
dripping sweat?
Like the broom that you
Where's
would
the
use
boys at?
to get a. Oh,
They're sleeping. Yeah. My wife's
Tired.
sleeping.
Tired of Independence
Oh,
Day.
I told them, like, I was like,
Well,
the
you
boys.
you gave them the what for on the text?
Because I didn't even get close to
No.
finishing it. And I told Crystal, I was like, after the boys eat breakfast, send them out there with their hands and then pick up
Yeah, easier to pick up, yeah.
every
Yeah.
little circle, pick
Baby
up the
hands.
trash.
Look at those baby hands.
So she said they're gonna do it. I'm gonna, when I get home from work,
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive over there and I find wood because we have to clean it up, right?
you do.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
You made the mess.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
So they're fine. The boys will get out there and they'll do it. But this led me to a broader thought. Okay. So as I'm cleaning up all this trash, I laughed because Crystal, she's very into the environment. Like I said,
she is. We make jokes about it because that's
And
what
so
we
should
do here. But she
everybody
is
be.
seriously like into animals. She's seriously into like saving the oceans and the world and
Yeah.
not littering and that's
I'm-
a thing.
I mean,
for her.
And her husband just trashes the neighborhood.
No, I mean like he'll take bugs outside for her. He hates litterers too. Like I mean, I see it. It's rubbed off on you too.
and like everybody should be trying to not ruin our
Yeah.
environment.
I mean, I'm
I
that
don't know,
way. I'm that
right?
way, but I'm not like her. You know,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
driving down the road and my straw wrapper blows up my sunroof, I'm like,
It's a
that
casualty
sucks.
of
Yeah,
war.
like,
So speaking of the straw wrapper, I laugh because I imagine myself if me and Crystal were driving down the road,
Yeah.
and I took my straw wrapper from my smoothie, right,
Yes.
the paper straw, the
Yeah.
white one, and I crumbled it up and I rolled down my window and I threw it out my window, right?
Which, by the way, is something my father did ad nauseum. My dad was
Oh, you can't do
Mr.
that.
Tiny
You can't
Paper.
do that.
In the 80s,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
father, it was just a thing. If you had a little
Paper,
straw
yeah.
wrapper,
I
a
mean,
cigarette
people
butt,
still litter, guys.
I don't do it,
I
but-
don't either, but I see it all day on the
Yeah,
road.
it's insane
and
to
he
litter,
stopped
though.
it in the
You can't
90s,
litter.
but in the
But-
70s and 80s, you would just take your straw
It was
wrapper.
normal,
yeah,
yeah.
you would just
But-
put it out the window and biodegrade.
So anyway, if I did that, Crystal would be like, "Are you insane?" Like, you know,
It would cause an
like,
argument.
she would be
Stop
like,
this car.
She would be like, "Why did you do that?
What the hell's wrong
Well,
with
you can't just throw your
Yeah.
garbage out the window. You're insane. Go back." Like she'd
make
I
you
mean,
pick
she'd
it up.
yell at me. I mean, like she'd be like, "Stop the car!" Like it would be
It'd ruin your Saturday, I'll tell you that.
It would be a insanely imagine if I took those tiny like Mars bars, the single serving squares.
Oh,
and
fun
if
size.
If I
Yeah.
took a fun size Mars bar,
Oh, that's even
wrapper,
worse.
Well, you're a
Yeah.
monster
Oh,
then.
my God.
I
yeah,
mean,
You
I
mean
mean-
the Mylar? The shiny Mylar? Oh, that'll never
No.
go away.
You're right under Jared from Subway. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, did you guys watch that?
No,
I can't watch it.
If I did that,
Can't get through it.
Eh,
Stop that.
and then
Took it off the list.
And then meanwhile, 4th of July night, I am blowing
Yeah,
up
yeah.
the
The
equivalent
irony.
of 100 Mars bars. Like, I'm not joking. Maybe 300 Mars bars of trash into the sky.
Trash island.
And then it is just, I'm cleaning up the trash on my street, but I mean, the stuff that blew into the atmosphere, like into the neighborhood, it has to be 100 Mars bars.
I won't say who was firing them, but there were some shots last night that would rain down flaming trash. It was my favorite one, Sam. There are these shots that went up so.
Yeah.
First of all, these were and I don't know. I'm
Flaming trash.
I'm not naming any names. But when this thing came out of the tube, it was louder than I've ever heard anything, to the point where it blew Maisie's Crocs off. And when it would
gave you diarrhea, the
it
concussion of
would
it.
give you diarrhea. When it would go off in the sky, it was so low to the ground that it would push your diarrhea. Like you could feel your butt go.
What?
Your butt would
that
go.
doesn't sound fun.
It hurt. It concussed your chest and your diaphragm, and it made your area around. Tom and I, everybody say it was like. "Whoom." And
the
we'd be like,
neighbors
"Whoa,
are doing like the
I think
big,
I need to poo.
heavy,
Big boys.
thumping mortars.
Thumpers. They're big thumpers, man.
But anyway, I just laughed because as I'm raining trash on the
Flaming trash, flaming trash.
Crystal's eating popcorn, watching
Yeah,
cheering,
she
like,
loved
"Yeah!"
it. Yay.
cheering at me.
Blow up more trash.
Like one scenario, divorce.
Yeah.
One scenario, literally cheering.
Actually,
and I
one
laugh.
quote-
I just laugh at that.
Sam, one scenario, divorce.
That's comedy.
The other scenario, quote, you went a little light this year.
yeah.
Right, hold on.
Should have been more
Let's
trash.
point that out. Like one scenario, like literally stop the truck. I'm calling
Yeah.
Mo. And then the other scenario was why do we only have 2 cakes?
Yeah.
How many left? Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's funny because I think that's how all humans are wired. It's just it's all relative.
Also,
right?
some observations. You didn't have any. Fire?
No.
That's. I mean, great.
I mean, even driving, like, I barely heard any last night. None at all on Monday.
nice.
But, like, I don't know, maybe 10. And I don't even think they were in my neighborhood. I think they were, like, surrounding neighborhoods. Like,
Really?
when I drove through this morning, I didn't see one piece of trash.
Christine in the Twitch chat room, twitch.tv/TomandDanLive, and always on YouTube @TomandDanLive, says very little, no trash, no. Around here, I will say it was nuts. And driving back from your house, the road that you live on, driving back to my house, is one road. Like, we really only take like a couple turns to get to each other's homes.
Yeah,
And
Lake Mont.
it was more people in their yard, like lighting fountains and little, nothing crazy. But I don't think I've ever seen that many people out doing it. Like showing their kids and...
After we finished and everybody left, we jumped in the pool and then just sat there and listened to fireworks and watched them.
Yeah, make your own fireworks.
The kids were there.
Oh.
My kids, and in the summertime, we are irresponsible.
It's lawless,
parents.
man.
Sometimes my kids are going to bed midnight. I mean, it's insane, and they're sleeping till 10 a.m. I'm a horrible parent. And there's no rules.
did not say
I don't know why you just yelled that in the middle of the segment on fireworks, but okay. You must be feeling guilty today. Something's coming out. You can't think bubbles to the top.
I'm sitting in my hot tub wasted. My kids are swimming. It's 11:30 at night. 11:30 fireworks are
It's
going
fine.
off. I'm like, America.
Last night?
Last
you were
night?
up till 11:30 drunk in the hot tub?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
it's coming
That
back.
was a natural.
Tom
He's
Van
back,
American.
baby.
Yeah.
He's back,
Because
baby.
my friends were in town.
Are they still here?
No,
they left. They left 4th of July, and then to end the kind of the fireworks talk. So I got a firework back in New Year's.
Yeah.
And it was
Long time coming on this guy.
It was a Big Boi.
It's the biggest one I've seen that
Yeah.
we can get a hold of.
Yeah. Let's just say, if you want fireworks, you know where to go.
Yeah.
And if you want,
and if you got the right
Big
question,
Boi,
if you ask the right questions,
you get the right money. You get a Big Boi.
Yeah.
And what I mean is like. This thing cannot. This is commercial.
Yeah.
Like commercial Big Boi.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is what Tom calls himself in the business department. He makes me call him that. I'm like, "Good morning, commercial Big Boi," and he's like, "Good morning, little audio boy."
It weighed 30 pounds. I'm not joking.
I don't think I
I'm
could
not
lift
even
it because of how
exaggerating.
big it was.
30-pound commercial Big Boi. Anyway. So I took this thing over to the Wizard's house. I couldn't set it off because his neighbors.
We've done the math a couple times, and then you were measuring your cul-de-sac. No dice.
Yeah.
You do the Wizard. He couldn't do it.
So I was gonna even maybe tell my neighbors like I got this big one I'm gonna set off, but even the professionals told me. Don't set this off in a cul-de-sac. And when they tell me that, usually because they're loose with rules, they're like, it's fine. It's fine when they tell me,
they're
be
like,
careful of this one.
No, don't do that.
I'm like, I cannot do this. Anyway, so I wanted to give it back to the person. I'm just like, he's like, just give it to someone who would appreciate it.
So we gave it to this homeless guy downtown.
So the Wizard stayed with me and Fernando over the weekend, over the long 4th of July weekend. And I'll tell some stories on Friday about that. But so before they left, I told Turkey Leg that I'm like, take this back to Miami and set this off at Porno Joe's house.
Yeah.
Because he's got a big backyard.
Most amount of land.
And then he's like, at first he didn't want to do it. He's like, oh, God, my wife's bitching at me. Then I'm just taking it.
Well, it was also
and set it off
humongous, Sam. It would be like asking, hey, take these 3 kids with you back to Miami. It was huge.
And he's like, no. And then he's like, he's like, you're a fireworks guy. Like, you use it. I don't want to take. I'm like, take it and video for me.
It's not his lane.
Because
take it and video for me. You're a grandpa, man.
Yeah.
Well, because
hey, man, take this and video for me. I gotta see what it does.
Also,
they say it's the best.
And I got a little spooked that listener we had his house burned down.
So give it to your friend for his house to burn down.
No, I want it because I'm
Tom,
like I can't just
or the car on the way
know.
down to Miami.
Sam,
I did joke about that happening.
I don't think you understand how much fireworks Tom left and then misplaced in his garage. So he's getting that it's all out now, right?
It's all out now. With the hoarderness that is in there.
They find
it's a fire hazard.
This is going. I mean,
where do you store it? In the dryer.
Because I'm all about math and everything. I'm like, my house is not gonna burn down.
About math.
But I'm like, now we have fireworks. Like we have mega commercial fireworks and trash
next to your gas.
Next to gas cans. Like
next to your gas cans and your oil and your turd tools.
If all this went off, I mean, it will burn my house down for sure.
Have you seen the video of the guy that he's unloading it into the garage and exactly what you're saying happens? Have you seen that?
Oh my God!
Because it's so scary, dude. It's not even something I'm like,
I got a bunch of
forth. You can't even laugh at it.
I got a bunch of kid toys with batteries. If one of those batteries blow up and then set the fireworks off, like those fireworks will go off for a minute and a half. That Big Boi's a minute and a half display.
You also have a
going off inside my garage, burn my house down for sure.
You also have a gas fume and fear-soaked paper mache woman in a chair that literally.
That'll burn fast.
You want kindling? You got it.
Anyway, so I give it to Turkey Leg. He goes down. And so apparently Joe, Turkey, Andres, all my Miami friends, the word spread about this big firework I was sending down there.
The team assembled. It was like the Avengers came together.
So then I guess they got scared of setting it off in Joe's backyard, so they went to the Miami Canals.
And they found an undisclosed...
The Miami Canal.
They found an undisclosed
There's a bunch of
Miami
canals down there.
Canal where you guys did the jet skis before, right?
Yeah. And then
places you go to do bad stuff.
The Turkey Leg rides his dirt bike, electric dirt bikes around.
The tunnels.
So they all go out there with the kids, and they set this thing off. And it was the biggest thing I've ever seen.
It was crazy.
It went off for a 1 minute and 30 seconds straight.
And at the end, it paused, and then it went. And then it paused and it went. Like it was crazy.
Crazy. And it was pretty awesome. Even
on FaceTime, it was all like we were all like, oh man, and. You guys will be proud. Tom, you did give it away. If we had done that in your cul-de-sac, that would have been bad, mega bad.
My neighbors would have for
Called
a
cops.
long time hated. Yeah, but I don't think cops
I don't think
come-
you would have had a
No.
pull screen anymore, dude.
By the
think
way,
your pull screen would have gotten decimated.
Okay, we should ask a cop, but I think the answer is no, they don't. But I think if people call about fireworks on 4th
Like
of
noise
July,
complaints? Yeah, I
they,
don't think they...
I don't think they show
What
up.
if
Maybe
it's
after
egregious and
2
you're-
in the morning.
What
or-
if it's going on like that? I mean, if you set that thing off at like 3 a.m., I think the cops are getting called.
But the thing is, even the cops realize, like, okay, you're gonna call me, but by the time I get there, it's gonna be off. Like, it doesn't
Right.
go on for an hour. You know, it's not like a house party where it's music.
Right.
They go. You know, it's like the firework happens, and then maybe someone's bad, but then it eventually ends. So anyway, but that, with the how big the explosions are, I think that's why some people call the cops. Like
Right.
those giant mortars. The concussion ones that give you diarrhea.
I think those are the ones. I think those are the ones.
People
that,
get scared
The
of those.
dogs. I think those are the ones that give your dogs diarrhea because it gave
Yeah.
me diarrhea.
Anyway, yeah.
It's like less of being afraid and more of just like, why is that giving me diarrhea? Ow!
Well, the sound. You remember the videos of that like manure plant exploding in Turkey? You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
It happened like
I do know what you're talking about.
in the pandemic.
Yeah, I remember the one that
Where,
happened.
where like the fire, there was a fire and everybody was filming
Yeah.
it, and all of a sudden it did like a nuclear explosion, and then it was like whoa, and then all of a sudden the sound wave hits you, but it takes like
and then everybody were there that was
10
watching
seconds.
it was like, oh, diarrhea.
Oh my
the
god.
sound like you don't even hear it, and all of a sudden like you see it coming. You're like, oh, here it comes, and then it's like go, and you're like, whoa.
Well, they have that, right? Like sonar, if you sounds are they were using that for riots. Remember, they would have that sound device,
yeah.
and they'll blast it into the
Yeah.
crowd, and then make you poop your pants.
Yeah.
I
Your
think
guts.
I think that's a thing.
I think like the concussion wave moves your bowels.
Gravity.
Yeah, like it shakes.
You're like, hell
shakes your
no,
bowels.
we won't
Shakes
go.
your
Hell no. Oh,
Like
God.
if you shake your intestines around, like
Yeah.
that's what it does, right? I
It
don't know.
shakes your intestines.
All right. We'll be
Uh-oh.
We're a little
taking
rough.
break.
We're
We're taking a
taking
break.
We'll come back. We'll
Man,
come
I'm
back.
hungover.
All right, that's funny. All right.
That's funny.
That was really funny. Okay, that is Wednesday 1. I am glad they FaceTimed us. That was really cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, I told them they had to.
I couldn't believe it. Like it just kept going and going and going, and how far they were running was probably a good idea.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because
That was the
if you're too
scariest part
close,
is seeing him run.
if you're too close, you can't even
can't
see it.
see it, yeah.
You have to be a football field away to enjoy the full display.
Sam with Tom and Dan. Are you good to talk with us now? All right, let me just throw you on hold, okay? So sad.
Oh no,
What's the guy's
Did he
name
get
again?
fired?
Brian.
Brian the commercial diver.
Line 1.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And did you want to put him 2 or 4?
Well, we could do, and they're both the same amount of time, right?
Yeah, basically. One's 19, one's 22.
Let's let's do 2.
Hey, Brian, can you hear us okay?
Hey, Dan. Yeah,
Hey, what's up,
sure
man?
you good.
Appreciate you being here,
Good.
man. We appreciate you taking the time this morning and hope you had a good 4th of July, okay?
Yeah, you too.
All right, man. Hold on one second. You know how we do this. Hold on. Here we go.
And you got that new song?
I do, yeah.
We'll see how this goes. I did not listen to it, so.
Okay, here we go. Mr. Man.
Okay.
And 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. All right, we're gonna do a little weird job, and I heard that someone made us a new weird job
Yeah.
song.
A
and
blast from the past.
Trivia Drew reached out to me. We will be booking him soon, but he also said he was inspired when Dan said he was going to start making new Weird Job songs, and he made one for you.
Yeah, he beat me to the punch.
All right,
Yeah.
and
it's
by the
like-
way, if anybody
and I needed it today.
if anybody wants to make us a weird
Yeah,
job
just send
song,
us one.
Yeah, and maybe
Try not to curse if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps out Sam and me. And yeah, just you don't need to curse.
And I'll throw this out there. Maybe you're in a band and you record a weird job song.
Oh.
We'll plug your band.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
will,
like
we will.
yeah, if you do the effort,
And
that
everybody
it takes-
knows that if we play your song, your Weird Job song, on this show, that you'll
Viral.
become
Yeah, a
Instantly.
megastar.
you'll become rich and famous, and
I don't know
you'll
if you guys heard of Colleen Ballinger.
Yeah.
We had her first.
Colleen Ballinger. Yep.
I'll tell Tom about that later.
Had her first.
He has no idea who that is.
Yeah. He's thinking about it though right now, and he's like, "Is that the lady that owns the art space? Who is that?" Okay. Here we go. This
Carol
is...
Baskins? I'm stuck in 2020.
Oh my God, man.
I got him too. Everything's to me. Every woman that's older woman is Carol Baskins to me. Every woman. All right, this is Trivia Jew. Oh, hold on. Can't say that. To clarify, this is Trivia Drew, not Trivia Jew. This is Trivia Drew, who is going to be coming back, and he's alive.
Yeah.
Putting basically formaldehyde in a human body. 90% isopropyl alcohol. Don't talk about it. Good idea or bad idea? We're doing a lot of good bads. We like to take the worst idea that we have and then force it through the hole. Ted Nugent. No, we have his like that. We do.
Is he just playing us the show?
Yeah. The intro.
Stop and take a moment and listen. Weird Job is back with a brand new edition. You get dressed in your tighties, whities. What time you go to work? Is it daily or nightly? Should this bit stop? I don't know. The only thing weirder than your job is Tom's toe. Is it a dream like Conquering Mike in his work truck? Or maybe Mike B who don't give an F because it work sucks. Van wants to know your salary. Anything less than 6 figures is a felony. Deadly. Like a coal miner's job. Every time you make it home, you thank God. Love it, I'll leave it. I know you can't wait to get in your car when it's a Wednesday. If you got a weird job, let's talk it. How much do you make? Because Tom wants to mock it.
He's trying to catch his breath with every sentence.
Yeah, what do you think? And it was recorded
In a bathroom.
Yeah, it was recorded. It's got that like that. I made this MP3 so small that it is now static.
Oh my God.
I made it static.
It was a little hard to listen to.
I made that. I compressed that MP3 so tiny that now it's just a sizzly baking. Yeah.
In 2023, isn't it hard to make things sound bad?
It is. It is. We have
Isn't
listeners that tell me I can't listen anymore. It sounds too good. How the guy tell me that? He's like, I can't do it. I hear the mouth noises. Well, listen to that then.
Yeah, but I mean,
Here, I can help. I can cleanse our palate. I can cleanse our palate.
God.
I didn't do one, but I was going to play this for you guys. This is
Drew,
the
what the
Charlie Daniels Band with This Ain't No Rag, It's a Flag. And I'm going to sing along. Yeah. Remember this? Charlie can get it. This ain't no rag, it's a flag, and you never wear it on your head. Okay. There you go. Little Charlie Daniels, this ain't no rag, it's a flag, and you never wear it on your head.
All right. Who do we got?
Brian.
Brian. How you doing, Brian?
Good. How you doing, Tom, Dan, Sam?
You sound so sad, man. I just gave you.
Well, he just listened to Trivia Drew song.
Well, that's true. But I thought I'd cheer you up with a little Charlie Daniels band.
So,
Yeah, that's pretty good. Thanks, Dan.
You got it.
So, Brian, what's your weird job?
Yeah, so I know Tommy was talking about saturation diving and underwater welding and that stuff. So I was a commercial diver for about 10 years.
Awesome.
So been around saturation diving, done some underwater welding, and
So what we're hearing is not sadness. It's just you're a cool dude. You're calm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're just a calm guy.
Oh, yeah. If I know saturation divers, they're all on the spectrum. Brian's probably, you have to you have to have no emotion.
You're doing something that kind of defies what humans are supposed to do, right?
yeah, sure, I guess.
So, Brian, explain to the audience what saturation diving even is.
So saturation diving, if you think about this, if we're all saturated at 1 atmosphere absolute, about 14.7 psi. So the body under pressure, it'll absorb enough nitrogen, will equalize, will level out. You won't absorb any more nitrogen. So when you're working at depths, deeper than 400 feet or so, what they do is they pressurize a living chamber, and then you live at that pressure while you're doing the job, usually 30 days. And then when you go do the job, you get in a bell, and they lower that over the side to the working depth, and you get out and do your job. And then when you're done with your shift, you get back in the bell. They bring you back up to the habitat, lock you back in, and then at the end of the job, at the end of the 30 days, they'll slowly relieve the pressure and then back up to, normal atmosphere. About
That's
14.7
crazy.
PSI.
That's straight crazy.
So it's
Are you isolate? Are you alone? Is it just you in like what is like your quarters or what is?
the bell that you live in. How
Yeah.
big is it?
It's about the size of your garage. If you think about that, I mean, it's a tube. It's a pressure chamber, and there's usually two crews, either two-man teams or three-man teams.
So you have to live with these other people for, you said 30 days in this tiny pressure tube? Like, where do you go to the bathroom? How do you shower? How do you get any privacy?
And what if somebody goes crazy? Because there's a horror movie.
Right?
You can't open that thing.
No,
you
that's
you
what
have
I'm
the
saying.
bends, your
That's
teeth will fizz out.
Yeah, you got to learn to work together.
So tell us about living with a couple other dudes for that long in such a small space.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get used to who you work with, Plus, you're also under that pressure, and then you're breathing, depending on the depth, largely helium is the inert gas you're breathing. So, it's hard to talk to each other. You sound kind of weird.
This sound okay.
What?
Hold on, we may have hit the
I
one.
need a movie about this.
Sam, we may have
There
hit
is a
the
movie.
one. Yeah, we may have hit the one that is the weirdest and scariest job of all
Okay.
Just
time.
walking around with helium voice?
Well, no,
Okay.
you can't communicate like it. It doesn't initially feel weird when you start doing this as a career and you're like a new guy. How long does it take you to get where you can make this like your new normal?
Yeah, I mean, it takes a while. And again, this is something that you don't do straight out of school.
Right.
You work your way up to it through the field. There's a documentary or a movie on Netflix called Last Breath that pretty well goes through it.
Okay.
Is it
Yeah,
scary
yeah.
though? Is it gonna freak me out if I watch
Dude,
it?
this is where we talked about this before. It's the most insane documentary I've ever seen.
No, I don't think I
And,
wanna watch it.
Sam.
Yeah, I think I'll go watch
wa-
cartoons.
Watch it this week.
All
It's
right.
called Last Breath. It's on
Trying to
Netflix.
freak her out.
And it's insane. And anyway, so Brian, explain why you're breathing helium.
So, you and Dan are both recreational divers, and
Yeah.
the limit's about 100 feet because of the nitrogen, which is the inert gas you breathe. 79% nitrogen is in the air. So that nitrogen becomes narcotic after about 100 feet. So if you start, I've been on air, like done deep dives like 220, 250. You really get, it really clouds your vision. You can't operate. It's kind of like being stoned or drunk. So being you can't work at that with that onset of narcosis, they get rid of the inert gas, the nitrogen, and replace it with helium, or you could use hydrogen, but hydrogen has got some flammability issues. So that's why they use helium as the primary inert gas. Plus, you cut the oxygen content because oxygen becomes toxic after about 333 feet. So
Which is
the
half of
oxygen-
666. I just want to point that out. I'll point that out.
Yeah, so the oxygen level is lower, but the partial pressure is higher. So it's about partial pressure.
So you're doing a lot of math to really figure out the what you can and can't breathe. You got to get used to it. You're down for most jobs. Is there most jobs are at this level, or is there like
Depth.
a depth like standardization?
So obviously, the deeper, the more danger, the more cost. So usually in the Gulf of Mexico, they don't do a lot of deep saturation dives. The big deep saturation dives generally in the world are up in the North Sea.
Gotcha.
And that's where that documentary takes place. So
Wow,
So,
man.
Brian, you brought up something that I think most people aren't aware of because they never experienced it. And you're right, when you get at depth, like over 90, 100 feet or whatever, your brain does work slower and you don't realize it. And
I've never been further than 90 to 100.
And
so
one of the, we got our advanced open water diving.
What's the furthest you've been?
It was on Groupon, but over 100. It was by accident. But anyway, the one of the tests when you do your advanced open dive is you go down, you do a combination lock on the boat, and then you have to go
Right.
down, and they time you, and then you have to go down to like 90, 100 feet, and then do the same combination lock.
Okay.
And then
They time you,
and
right.
and then they time you. Just make sure that you could work. You could be like work
Sure.
cognitively
Right.
at that
Not
depth,
panic
and
and- yeah.
understand that your brain isn't
Right.
working the same at depth. And it's funny because you're like, I remember doing this, and I'm like, I can do, and they're like, it's your brain works slower, like you're drunk, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I love being drunk.
I'm
like-
always drunk. My brain's always slow.
I only
Yeah,
do
yeah.
locks drunk.
Joke's on you.
I can do anything drunk. Like I have 10,000 hours.
Oh, I mean,
of-
Sam scuba dive.
and so you're like, this should be easy. And then you go down there, and first there's two things. One, there's no color really at 80 or 90
Yeah.
feet.
God.
Like
I can't find the lock.
the sun won't penetrate that long,
Right.
so everything's gray,
Yeah.
right? Which is weird. And then I'm doing the lock, and I'm so slow. I mess up 3 different times, and then I finally do it. And you're like, you can't even understand. It doesn't.
Right.
You don't
You don't
feel
know
anything.
why that happened.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
you're trying your hardest. You're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And that's what happens with people when they have some sort of problem
Does
or
that
whatever.
get easier with time? Like, as you've done this more, is it easier for you, or do you become desensitized to the initial fog?
So, commercial diving is a lot different than recreational diving. Commercial diving, everything's hyper controlled, in a saturation environment. As far as scuba diving, for me at about 165 is where I really get clouded. Like, for example, at 210 degrees, an analog pressure gauge, I can see where the needle is, I can see the numbers, but I can't tell you exactly where the needle is on the gauge. I can see it's close to the red or about where, but I can't read the numbers. If that makes any sense,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
that
can't figure it out.
Yeah, that does make sense.
So,
Right. So a digital computer, I can read it, no problem. But it's the analog stuff you just can't figure it out. It's little stuff like that that you get little confusions about. And it works differently for everybody. Some people get really euphoric when they are on nitrogen narcosis. Some people get paranoid. It's just like being, under the influence of any other narcotic.
Right.
So-
Case by case.
Brian, how deep, and explain the suit that you wear at a certain depth that you have to wear, because it's kind of like an old school, it's like an astronaut suit. It's like a pressurized suit. Explain the equipment when you, and the actual depths that you're diving.
Okay, so at different pressures, it's exactly the same as scuba diving. Tom, you might be thinking about a pressurized suit, which is basically you wearing a submarine. It's a gem suit. That's a 1 atmosphere suit. So it's different than normal diving. So normal diving, the pressure is exactly the same. You're equalized to whatever the bottom pressure is. So you have no suit that's rigid. And the hat you're wearing, the diving helmet, if you want to call it, is basically a fiberglass motorcycle helmet with a demand regulator stuck in the front. And then you've got a little a valve on the front that you can blow down air into the hat, and that's usually used to clear out the visor.
And so,
That's crazy.
So because and I guess a lot of people, because of the submarine accident that is made world news, they don't understand that, like, that submarine that's why it imploded, so much pressure, because it's going down and back up. They don't need to saturate themselves or like you get the nitrogen out, because they're going in the same atmosphere all the way down and back up, and then go up instantly.
Which is also what makes it dangerous, though, too.
These guys spend 30 days acclimating themselves to the deep water, and that's why it takes so much time to bleed off all the nitrogen and stuff. And then, so let's talk about that. Like, when you're living in that tube, because I heard about an accident recently that happened where someone opened that tube by accident and killed the people inside.
Holy moly.
And I thought about,
How
like,
does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. Do you hear about that?
So I haven't heard about that, but there is an old story that goes around in the North Sea, and I'm not sure whether it's even true or not. But everybody that's been in the diving industry has heard this story that the bell was locked onto the habitat. There was a new guy, a new tender that had just gotten on the job, and those things leak a bit. There's big air compressors that keep the pressure up, either pumping helium into the thing or oxygen into the thing. You don't use a lot of oxygen, but regardless, it was leaking. And the thing kind of sets on and does a quarter turn. It's got these dogs that lock the bell onto the habitat.
Yeah.
And some wooden wedges and a sledgehammer, and they told the guy to go, drive some wedges in it to tighten the seal up, and he hit it the wrong way. And as the story goes, the bell spun off, and everybody was rapidly decompressed. And there was a guy in the transfer trunk that's between the bell and the living habitat, and he was exploded like strawberry jam. And so that's the story. That's the story from the back in the 80s and 90s. So I don't know how true it was, but I'm sure something like that has happened.
That's the story of Strawberry Jam.
Oh my God!
That's the legend of old Strawberry Jam.
I did not know you'd explode like that. I thought you just get slowly dive the bins. I don't know.
I feel that diarrhea again.
So if you think about it, Tom, I don't know if anybody showed you in diving. Diving's like you shake up a soda bottle with the lid on, everything's fine. You relieve the pressure, it turns into, it all foams up. The CO2 comes out of the solution and turns back into a gas. So that's exactly what happens in your body. Now, if you think about going into the vacuum of space, that's losing 14.7 pounds, 1 atmosphere. You would basically boil. Your body, all the inert gas and oxygen also would come out of solution, and you would just boil. Now, in saturation diving, you're at, let's just say 1,000 feet, which is 0.455 pounds per foot.
Yeah.
So it's significantly more than that. It's a lot more than that. So you would explode basically.
You'd turn into like gelatinous.
Yeah.
My wife says I'm already pretty gelatinous.
So Brian,
which are you more
so when
afraid
they were
of?
saying like that they had like found like human remains on this Titan, he was like, if it is, it's something like a filling or a knee replacement. He's like, there's no flesh left.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why they were saying, why are you even saying that?
It's like vaporized, but in the way.
Like reverse.
Anyway, it's
vapor
great.
So, like, which are you more scared of, just quickly, because the chat room wanted to know, is the ocean more infinitely terrifying to you, or is space more infinitely terrifying, or neither?
Well, I guess I'm familiar with the ocean, so space. But, I mean, either one I'm cool. I remember for a while they were talking about building a space station out of used fuel tanks from when you used to use the space shuttles. They were talking about constructing those, and they want to use commercial divers. It was a concept, and I was like, that'd be an awesome job. So
yeah, that's you, man. That's all you, and then you can call us again.
Well, Brian, going back to like living in the tube for 30 days.
What do you eat?
What do you do for entertainment? Is there a breakfast, lunch, and dinner routine you do with the other guys?
There's a buffet, but it's Italian.
How do you get the food?
Can't eat lasagna again.
Is there any way to speed this up? Is it like it has to be done real time? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah. So to get food in, there's a medical locker. So that think about kind of like the bell. There's a door on it. There's a door on the outside, door on the inside. You put the food inside the little transfer chamber, close that, pressurize that, and the door inside will open, and then you get your food out.
Can you get anything you want? Can you like, hey man, grab me some Huey Magoos?
Well, you're on a ship.
This is usually on an oil rig or a big dive boat. And you're eating basically what everybody else is eating. Plus, when you're at pressure, your taste buds are really bland. So
really,
you don't think about stuff like that.
Yeah. That's why this is crazy.
So Brian,
I can't even taste my stew. Okay. And this guy's a crazy person I lived with for 30 days.
I'm fascinated by this. So, Brian, do you mind? We're going to take a quick break, come back. I want to talk. I have a couple more questions for you. All right. So
sounds good.
We'll be right back. All right, and then we'll because I got a couple more questions for Brian. This is, I don't know if it's as fascinating to other people, but
it is to me. Where's that go?
Wednesday 2.
Yep, gotcha. Because please hold, buddy.
I want to talk about the psychology of trusting other people with your life, because
are all of your senses dulled?
Yeah. So
don't
ask
him
now. Don't
ask him now.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, Brian. I just got to save this file, buddy. And thanks again, man. We appreciate it.
Sure.
Yeah, this is super interesting.
Do we want to move Jacqueline's to 4, even though I think we say we'll be right back kind of thing?
We can.
Because Jacqueline is 3. That way it's consistent with Brian.
Yeah,
okay.
we can do that.
We'll do that. Just as easy.
Oh, hey, DJ Axis. I'm glad you like the Yacht Rock show, man. Kupo J says, that Brian did not deserve the intro song we gave him. You're right.
That's
You're
true.
right.
That's true.
That's true.
Although it did sound like it was recorded in a pressurized.
I think it's on.
Tube.
You know what, Sam? That's good producing right there. That's good producing when you're like, you know what? It does sound sad.
I want to know about the
An inside
money
of a tube.
because
All right, you guys
Can't
ready?
be enough.
I'll bring us back.
You couldn't pay me enough to do this.
no.
Here we go. In 3.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Yeah, let's jump in it, man. I
Back
don't
to
know.
questions.
Yeah, back to
Yes.
questions with Brian.
Get
So
to work.
So Brian, I want to talk about the psychology of your trusting, because once you're in that pressurized tube and the oil rig or whatever, you're trusting other people with your life, obviously, and
Yeah, and you just told the story about the guy that was trying to shim it up a little bit, and he blew someone to strawberry jam.
and then also, if you're on a dive ship in that bell and the ship sinks, is there an emergency protocol to at least the bell will float around?
Oh my God.
Or are you sinking with the ship?
You know, I don't think I would have ever thought about that.
Well, I mean, think about how
I know.
paranoid normal people are.
Yeah.
Like you be in that bell the whole time.
We should just
thinking-
have Sam make a list. Okay, make a list of all the things, and we'll just ask Brian on everything.
Like you're sitting there, you're like, all right, if this,
I wouldn't have thought of that. The ship going down, but you bring up an excellent point. So what happens if you lose connection to your guys?
Yeah. So as far as trusting people, you went through school just like everybody else would. You work your way up. You just don't jump first day on the job and jump into being a saturation diver.
Right.
You work your way through it. So you do all the life support monitoring. You're a medical supervisor for a while. You've monitored all this stuff. It's a long process. So you're pretty well bought in, and you've trained the guys that are actually, or you've worked with the guys that are actually doing all the life support while you're in there. So your trust is pretty high. It's pretty confident. They just don't have guys off the street jump on the job. So that's one thing. And another thing, as far as if a boat sinks, I mean, there's a lot more important things than 4 guys in the chamber. I mean, yeah, there's provisions, but that's not a priority. If the boat goes down or the oil rig goes down, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much a disaster.
So you're like, well,
that's
I will
it.
definitely die.
There's more important stuff out there than me. I guess I'll just watch this Netflix and wait for this
my
thing to
God.
make me strawberry jam.
By the way, if you're listening to Brian talk and you watch that documentary, The Last Breath, and all these guys that do saturation
Are they like
diving,
this?
they are human machines.
So what you're saying is
their
I'm
brains
not
are
this
mapped.
guy.
No, I mean it's like this is the chances. This is the I knew that
Yeah.
if
He knows
this
the science.
if this
Yeah.
happens, I will die. And everybody will die. It's like,
What is the
and it's like,
longest-
there's no Brian. You don't have anxiety, right? You don't deal with any of that.
No, I mean, when you've got work to do, you're focused on work. If you think about an airplane pilot, if you hear the black box on those air disasters, they maybe at the very end they yell or something, but they're just,
but they're calm
they're-
until
Yeah.
It is
impact.
very much like, okay.
Yeah.
they're
It is a
working the
different.
problem until
doing
they're
my
out
best
of
here.
options.
I'm doing my best here to try and get us up here. I
Well,
don't
Brian-
know what's going on. That's really hard.
Brian, the rest of society is living in a constant anxiety
Oh, my God.
about everything. About
Every
parking.
minute of
Life.
Yeah.
I feel like every day I feel like I'm turning into strawberry jam.
Yeah.
So Brian, let's talk about how much you get paid to do this, because Sam does bring a good point. Like, if someone offered me 30 days and the saturation
Yeah.
bell and deep diving, I'm not joking. I don't think I'd do it for $1 million.
I
You
don't
said-
I
you said there's
definitely
no
would
money.
Not
Like
no.
to live like
Not
that.
after that old Ocean Gate BS.
Well, just
Well, that was some ramshackle stuff put together. This
I
is
know.
like
This
professional.
is real stuff.
Yeah,
you're
and I
right.
still wouldn't
You
do
know-
it.
you
And
know
I
what?
still
You
would
make
not
an
do it.
excellent point. This guy, they do the safety checks. That is like
The ocean's terrifying to me.
like
though.
Brian's saying, like these guys have done this so much that their job is to make sure that this is the safest, easiest, bestest. That's just what they do.
Well, just being confined in a small space and
for
knowing
30 days.
How
And
long?
you
Is it
can't-
only 30 days, Brian, or do you stay down there longer?
there are limits to it. If usually whatever the job takes, like
Gotcha.
30 days is a long job. In
Gotcha.
the North Sea, they do durations of 6-month jobs, and they rotate out every 30 days.
Okay.
So
Do you ever get any sticky situations that you might not mind telling us because you don't suffer from PTSD like I do from just dogs dying in my life? Like you do all this stuff, and I've had puppies that have died, or a kitten that got run over at my grandpa's house, and I can't function because of it.
You know when T2, you asked T2 about Terminator.
Would this change
I was like,
me?
what?
Todd, this is it.
But you asked Terminator about why he's doing anything.
Hold on.
He's just like, this is what I'm programmed to do.
yeah.
This is your
Because there's no emotion behind it.
If Brian took me down for 30 days and then I lived and came back up, would it change me? Would it take it away? Is that what I need to do?
Or do you have a freak out down there?
Yeah, yeah.
Kill
you
everybody.
Can't. No, you can't. I'm too
No.
little to kill anybody.
Brian will
hold
definitely
me
kill
down.
you.
Yeah.
He'll just tie you up
Yeah.
and just be like, "Now I'll
Yeah.
feed you so you stay
Go
alive."
to sleep, little baby.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
give you
but
one Triscuit a day and a glass of orange juice. One Triscuit.
So I'm sorry, we're throwing a lot at you, Brian.
We
so,
asked about
No problem.
payment.
Yeah,
but
pay. Yeah, how much
yeah.
do you get
Thank you,
paid,
Sam.
and how much does this job pay?
Okay, so I did this work in the 90s and the early 2000s. But what I'll tell you back then, saturation diving, a good job was $1,000 a day from lock in to lock out. That's the time you
Not enough.
enter the chamber to the time you get out.
Decent pay, though.
It
if
is
you're,
decent pay.
If you're
It's
like
enough
Brian.
to think
Yeah.
about it. It's enough to go, okay.
Yeah.
It's enough to make you.
Because you think you're looking at like a deployment or something, like, you know, when you work private contractor, you go to Afghanistan for
Yeah, yeah.
like 4 months.
I've
you're
been
just
working
like,
with
all right,
Wagner for a while.
You know, you're like, I'm gonna go and do this, and it's gonna make me this much money, and then I'll bank it and come back.
Right.
You know, so like
People do that on cruise ships too.
if you're a diver, you're like, all right.
Although cruise ship easier, I feel like I could get you on my tie for 30 days on a cruise ship and bank all my money.
But I'm gonna make $30K, and then I'll come back a month's worth of work. So Brian, let's talk about the bins. I'm sure if there's any possibility of some timetables being off, how much what are the symptoms, and then how much time do you have to get back into a pressurized bell to treat yourself for the bins?
That's a great question. Yeah.
Okay, so that saturation, the decompression's all done in the habitat on the deck, and it's highly monitored. So if one diver gets, I don't know, a decompression hit, all they'll do is put a little bit more pressure until the symptoms relieve, and then slow down the descent. So a decompression sickness in a saturation environment is not that big of a deal thing. It's usually normal diving situations. And so let's tell you a normal diving situation. Let's say you're doing a 200-foot dive for, say, 45 minutes. So you'll do your decompression schedule up until about 40 feet, and then at 40 feet, they'll pull you all the way to the top. You'll undress, get back into the chamber, and they would do some O2 safety stuff in the chamber. So that's called surface decompression using the O2. So that's a standard thing. And the reason they get you out of the water is because that way the other diver can get in, plus they have control over you. Because you're at 40 feet on pure O2, your risk of an O2 hit is pretty substantial. And one of the first signs of O2 toxicity is going unconscious, unconscious and convulsions. And they don't want you in the water when that's
Makes
a risk,
sense,
even
yeah.
though you do have a full face mask or a helmet on.
So they just pull you, and then just to be super safe, they go ahead and pop you in there so they can monitor the whole thing, and then that way.
Well, you've omitted your decompression.
Gotcha.
So along schedule, once you get to 40 feet, you probably have 2 hours of decompression to do. With oxygen, you can speed that up. You can cut the time a little bit more because you're
That's
not
what you were
taking on
saying.
any more inert gas.
Yeah, they can speed it up a touch that way by just handling it more manually. That
and
is
all
really
those tables,
interesting.
all those tables were basically set up in the 40s and 50s. The U.S. Navy did it out at Panama City, Florida.
Huh.
So.
There you go.
And they tested on humans.
Oh, my God.
It's like,
Because
Yeah,
the monkeys
they-
won't keep their masks
bring
on.
Johnny up real fast. Let's see what happens.
Uh-oh, put it back down, put it back down. Uh-oh, strawberry jam.
You can actually go on YouTube and look at some of the old Navy dive videos. There's divers that got hazardous pay for doing oxygen trials at depth. And you can see people convulse, like lose
Yes.
lungs, all types
Hold
of
on,
issues.
write that down, Sam. Watch the
But that
same
was
lunch.
in the late 40s when they were doing all that stuff.
Tough ass real men.
I'll do it. My family needs money.
Guys signing up to do this for $100, you know.
My daughter wants to go to dance school. All right, pump me full of oxygen.
They're like, we're gonna put you down there a couple hundred feet, and then you are gonna have
see
a
what
seizure.
happens.
We are gonna crank you up so fast you have no. We don't know what.
Oh my
And no, but
God.
they don't even tell you what's gonna happen. They say we don't know.
They don't
what's
know,
gonna
yeah.
happen.
Yeah, but something bad will happen. Something bad will happen to your body. I'll do
It's
it.
not gonna be good.
$100.
75.
Yeah,
$100.
well, not even for himself,
No,
for his
for
family.
his family.
Anyway, so Brian, Daniel did ask you a question about, do you have any crazy stories of anything that like near or close death experiences while you were doing this?
So in saturation, they keep things they won't even let you burn or weld underwater at saturation because of the risk. Plus, if you're working at 1,000 feet, you know, you've got a 1,500 foot of welding lead. That's a lot of money there. So they usually have an ROV that does stuff. And again, like the art junkie guy was talking, he was 99% correct. There's no welding underwater. You can't certify the weld. And if they do, they bring a habitat down. And where he was wrong, he said they flood it with oxygen. They flood it with air. And while you're in there welding, the protocol is to keep your hat on while you're welding inside the habitat, just because of any problems. You can't monitor the.
It's just polite. Take it off of the table. My grandma used to say that.
Yeah.
That was a joke.
Anyways, that's.
No time for jokes.
So,
Yeah,
like I say, when you're doing saturation, there's not a lot of risk. But I've done I did some inland diving also up in Michigan and stuff. That's where I initially got started.
Ooh,
And,
Michigan.
I could.
Michigan, you
One
can
of my
go down
first-
in one of the lakes and see Eminem's bike from when he was a kid. It's Eminem's old bike.
Yeah, so we did a lot of work on hydropower plants. We did some salvage on big iron ore ships and stuff like that. But we did a lot of hydropower plant work. And my first day on the job, and up in inland, they would usually jump you right in the water, see what you can do, because it's such a controlled environment.
Sure.
Plus, we were diving at 30 feet, so we would work, 4 to 6 hour shifts at a time. But anyways, I was building a coffer dam, which is a temporary dam in front of the hydropower plant spillway that we were going to de-water, and then the main construction company was going to demo it and rebuild it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was building a steel structure, and when it was time for me to be done, my umbilical, which is what you're hooked to the air compressor and your comm line and everything's through there, was underneath the structure that I had set. And there's a gap of about, 12 inches underneath of it. My umbilical was going on there, and they were like, yep, time to come up. So I had to actually take all my gear off, stick it under the beam, and then get it on the other side. So that was one, and then it could have been a huge
I can't breathe right now.
Sam is kind of right. I've been a little edgy this segment.
Also, you're not in the, what's that place called in Epcot, the under the sea?
Yeah, you're not
where
in the
it's like
Living
crystal-
Seas aquarium where the
No.
water's being filtrated it's 22,000 gallons every 5 seconds.
Or in the Bahamas, crystal clear.
You're in
Some
stinky Michigan.
doo-doo lake.
You're in
where
the
you
poop.
can't
You're in
even,
the poop.
you could probably only see a couple feet in front of your face, right?
Yeah, it depends what you was doing. Once we were doing the construction, it was pretty clean.
Are
but
you
we poured
yawning?
concrete.
Hold on. Are you yawning?
This is a nothing to Brian. He takes his stuff.
I think he's making an omelet.
You take all your gear off and then you stuff it through a hole just to get back to live, because that's the only way to live.
Not my thing, man. But one of my favorite weird jobs I think we've ever had.
It
'cause
is
this one
crazy,
is,
man.
this is the epitome of. We've had a good run lately.
Brian, I can imagine.
What do you do now, Brian?
Do you do anything, because you have to understand that even with all the protocol and people like knowing the math, that there's a greater risk than most other jobs. So do you do anything risky now to satisfy that I guess risk taker
that
mentality?
urge, maybe?
Urge.
So it's just with anything, right? Like that commercial diving, setting a steel beam, you can either go up to the surface if you're working in shallower depths and ride the work down, or you can have some crane operator drop it on your head. You can take the risk off. You can minimize the risk. With everything, there's risk. If you get complacent about stuff, risk goes up. So, anyways, to answer your question, right now I drive a fuel truck in the San Francisco Bay Area.
All right, so you're driving a bomb. There, did I answer my question?
I asked them which round is the toughest. They gave me this one.
By the way, the Brian's mentality I'm obsessed with. Anybody who does jobs that give the rest of the world anxiety, but it's a nothing.
Concrete
because
Mike has a little bit of this in it. Yeah.
It's just where they're like, here's the statistics,
job.
and this is
I
the
just
job.
prepare to minimize the risk.
As long as I follow protocol, then it's just as risky as driving
And
to
I
work.
do like his answer.
which is technically right, but we can't
Doesn't-
understand.
yeah.
But I also like his answer of, I trained with these guys. These guys trained with me. Of course, I trust them.
Yeah.
I'm like,
There's
I
a bond there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's like you know.
You see any crazy sea creatures? Tell me about the monsters.
You know, when you're doing some work down there, like banging around and making noise or burning or welding, the animals, the big pelagics, which we'd all like to see, you don't really see much of. You have little fish investigate what you're doing, which is kind of entertaining, but you don't really see too much.
Yeah, it's just
This is a boring, real man, get to work, scary job.
Damn it.
endless, the black abyss, 1,000 feet underneath.
Yeah, it's me, a lot of work, and the black abyss.
Yeah. And anxiety never creeps in at all, Brian, or you're just like, you start thinking like, like what if this
What if a sea monster gets me?
it's a zero?
Giant octopus.
So that's with anything, right? Like if you're not focused on doing something, your mind can wander, right? So, I mean, one of the scariest dives I've ever done was in Bali at night by myself, and there's nothing to see on a reef, and then your mind just plays games with you, like what's out there. But most of my dives were, working dives, and there was a job to do, and you're focused on that. So,
Why were you diving Bali in the middle of the night alone?
It was a job.
I was just there, just having fun diving.
That was my question. All right, you answered it right.
You're like,
One of the scariest things I ever did for fun was to dive alone in Bali.
You're 1,000 feet underwater, and you're like, you know what I'm going to do? When I get out of this job, I'm going to go dive alone at night.
See what happens.
You have edgied us up for a nice Weird Job Wednesday. Well done, and hey, man, if you ever get a chance, come in here and see us, okay?
Sounds good. Talk to you guys later.
All right, man. Be
See ya,
good.
Brian.
Wow, that was a goodie, right?
Yeah.
Oof.
The mentality of these guys, it makes me laugh. Because
And I
it's-
booked this way before this whole
Yes.
Titan thing went
Yes.
down anyway. It's
You
just
were on it.
weird that this
Yeah.
happened to time out correctly.
Oh, I had one question I
Oh,
forgot to
too
ask.
late.
I think we
Which-
could call him back at some point.
It's the dumbest question, but in the
I can answer it, though.
in the movie Abyss.
We'll give it a shot.
Oh,
Right.
the chat room was wondering if you're going to bring up a bit.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
they
I'm glad
knew
I think
me.
I'm gonna watch
No,
it.
I'm glad you didn't because that means they didn't win bingo.
Yeah, well, because I know the answer, and Brian's like, "You're a stupid idiot. That's a movie or whatever." But in the movie Abyss,
When they drink the stuff.
well,
to
to get,
breathe drink.
the umbilical fluid.
Yes.
They're like, humans used to breathe this, so your body will remember. And they get old Ed Harris in there, and they fill it up, and they're like, and then he starts breathing it, and then
They always do that one move where they're like, they jerk. They're like, they're like, oh, and I'm awake. Aye.
Yeah.
You know, he did almost die filming that movie.
Did he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that scene, I thought.
I haven't watched it, so that's why I want to watch it.
You
Because
haven't seen The Abyss?
No.
I went with my
not really my
dad.
style
It's
of movie.
One of the only memories I have of I remember
and
going
that's
to
maybe
work
why.
with-
I mean, think about that.
Yeah, my dad took me
The
at
only
10
memory you have
to
of
the
your dad
theater.
is a scary movie, and then eventually your dad passed in a hurricane. That's not good, dude.
Now I go to work with him some days when he's like sanding a boat.
Oh, that's
like
Shawshank.
We just figured it
the
out.
hell?
Yeah, we're figuring it out today.
Um,
We're learning a lot.
Actually, he didn't sand it. He hired a guy with Tourette's.
They were yelling. I remember
Oh, and he'd say the N word. And my dad, we drive to because he'd work on
hey,
the
knock
diesel.
off the N-word. My kid's out here. You moron. They call him somewhere. Hey,
All right.
knock that off. Hey, knock off the N-word. You can say any other word but the N-word. My kid's here. Say on that boat. Get to work. And his name's something like Little Jimmy.
Yeah, he couldn't help it. He
Yeah.
had Tourette's. He
He
screamed
had
the
no
N-word.
legs. He dragged himself around on a
He
skateboard.
screamed the C word.
Oh, the C word.
Yeah. And then and he'd be the boat sander,
Yeah.
and my dad would work on the.
Then your dad caught him smoking cigarettes with him one time, right? That always happens. Your dad always has one special man that helps him on projects, and you always end up smoking a cigarette with him, and then your dad fires him.
You know, I don't remember me doing any actual work.
Much like your boys.
This is all, check it out.
Like my dad brought me to the job site, and like he would work on the motors.
You need to
and
call
then...
Crystal and see where we're at with the trash.
Yeah, we need a trash update.
Yeah.
We should do trash update 2023. You should check in every hour to see if they've done it.
You're right. Yeah,
Have like a camera.
What are the chances
No.
that they went out there?
Are they even awake yet?
No, she'll make them run out there and do that.
Oh, she'll make them.
But I don't know if they'll do it. Yeah, you're right. Maybe she
I
won't.
wouldn't do it.
She'll probably just lie to me and say, Dr. Ghoul's out there sweeping it up because.
Hey, I saw the ghouls. They look great.
Yeah.
Pappy Ghoul looks great.
Yeah. Younger than Dr. Ghoul.
That's weird. I don't know how the ghoul system works.
Yeah.
I don't know how the ghouls. The ghouls they have.
Skips a ghoul
It
generation.
does.
All right. We will be right back.
Perfect. Those are great segments.
They were great.
All right, what's next?
Well, Wednesday's done.
Yeah.
Let's do.
Except I'm just gonna move. I'm labeling them wrong now, but I'm gonna go in and change that 3.
Let's do content for Monday.
All right.
I gotta pull something for Thursday too.
Oh right.
From last week.
What?
I would say
We'll get to that though.
the relationship thing.
Oh,
seem
yeah,
to
okay,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, you could just go with the one that
I do have an
Melissa-
email about that. A lady was very upset with Tom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
boy. Well, she's upset probably because it's frustrating, like to my wife, that I am the way I am. Because it's so easy in her mind. She's like, just do these things. Why can't you do them? You're capable.
Well, no,
And
the
it was like,
reason
I don't
I
think about
understand
it.
it's like when you guys tell me to chill my anxiety down. So I get it.
Because
'cause I'm
your
like,
brain is wired a
doesn't-
certain way. But you could get better.
You can try.
I'm trying to
You
get
can
better.
try. All right.
I threw a couple compliments over the
Look
weekend.
at you.
I was like,
That's
dude,
good.
I
Did
was
you get
like,
something for her birthday yet?
yes.
Yes, he's on that. You were on that
I'll
weeks
talk
ago.
about that, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
would you like to start us?
You want to do Monday 3?
Voicemails, emails, just
Let's-
talking shit?
Let's just start with Monday 1.
Okay.
Just to
I
make
got
it
plenty
easy.
of emails if you want.
Because I was telling
Yeah,
Daniel, I
let's
don't
do
even
some.
know if we're gonna do all 4 segments, but
Yeah,
we may.
Okay.
We'll see what we get.
Okay, I can start.
Yeah.
Here we go. In 3, 2. It is a corporate time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
If you want to sign up to become a BDM, our Shark Week episode is released today.
What are we supposed? I don't.
And
Am I back in? Am I out?
If you don't know what that is, it's stories about people messing their pants
I like
by
that.
accident.
That sounds like what an old Southern grandma. Oh, what's the
Did
matter,
you mess
baby?
your pants?
I think you messed your pants, baby.
In different hilarious situations, and we've done it for 10 years. We're also, KC is editing
Yeah.
together a best of all the winners of 10 years of
Yes.
Shark Week.
Indeed, so you have
And
that to
that'll
look
be
forward to.
BDM only content. So lots of BDM only content. And once you're a BDM, you have access to every BDM show we've ever
Yes.
done for
All
10
of them.
years.
All of them.
So you get instant access to thousands of hours
Yeah,
of content.
and the RSS feed, all of that. You just email me,
Yeah.
show@tomandan.com. I can take care of you.
We're also releasing best of the years. We've gone through KC's.
We're on number
done-
4.
Yeah, we're on number 4 now, so you can listen to those. Those are all on there. Anyway, lots of reasons to become a BDM, and you can sign up at tomandan.com.
Indeed. Also, this is the 10th year of Shark Week. And after this 10th year, we will be retiring the bit and then handing it over to the Jim Colbert Show, where they will pick up where we left off. Right? They're doing the next 10. It was
Did
my
you talk to Jimmy
understanding
about
that
that?
I may have only mentioned it to Ross Padgett in passing. All right. Voicemails or emails? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Let's do a voicemail.
Because they are stacked up in here. People get drunk over like holiday weekends, and they call us a lot. So let's try this one right here.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Sam, Ghost of Luca. Just wanted to give you guys a ring. This is just a quick message for Tom, since I think he really needs to hear this.
Uh-oh.
Throughout the over decade that I've listened, and I've forgotten every single one of those fucking interviews
Oops.
beforehand. Every time Sam called me, I had forgotten that it was set up. So, it happens, Tom. Not that important. See you guys.
So
Love
this
you.
guy's saying that most of the callers that we have for Weird Job Wednesdays, most of the interviews that we do, if they are in fact a listener, that he's forgotten every single time he's told Sam and opted into being on our show.
Well, I'm just saying that's odd, I feel like, because if you do listen to a show, like, okay, everybody listens to podcasts or radio content, right?
Yeah, something.
Some personality that someone listens to, right?
Yes.
Even like some morning show, you're just listening. You get,
Sure.
and then you get to know that person or that show pretty well,
Well, it's
right?
your
That's
show.
how it works.
It's the one you listen to.
Yeah, yeah, and then so you know the personalities, and the show is important to you, right? Because you listen to it all the time, right? It may not be a big deal, and the people may not be that important, but the show is because you listen to it.
Right.
So I imagine if you ever got on that show or had an opportunity to call in or be on that show, that you'd remember it coming up.
Yeah.
Like it would be a
I
big
really don't
point
want to
in your
set
life.
him going again because you can already hear him.
Yeah.
See how,
Right,
Yeah.
Sam?
Do you see
Like,
how mad?
Sam,
It's one of the only things that makes him mad. And
Okay.
please don't do it again like you did it the last time. 'Cause
Sam, is there like a murder podcast that you have listened to pretty
I'm
much the
very
most?
different, though, because I'm organized. I put everything in a digital calendar and a physical calendar. I'm always looking at my schedule and time. Like, I'm obsessed with, like, time and scheduling.
He has like multiple
So
calendars.
that probably would not happen to me, but... You know, every once in a while there'll be something like, oh, I forgot I got a dentist appointment. You
Of
know,
course,
or something
yeah.
like that'll happen.
Arbitrary things.
Sure.
I
People
forget.
are busy.
I forget everything.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
But you don't because
But
like
if they so there.
If I was like a super fan of a show, yeah.
there's gambling shows that I listen to.
was this guy a super fan?
I don't know. I
What?
mean, he listened enough to email in.
10 years. He said he's listened for 10 years. Like if I listen to a show for 10 years.
But maybe it's that thing, right, where you're like too friendly
I think
because
we're
you
too
do.
cash.
Yeah, too
Yeah.
cash. And they're like, they're bad at life.
Yeah,
it's
we're
fine.
we're very
a lot of bad life.
approachable, man.
Yeah, but no, that's fine.
Yeah, people
but-
text me inappropriate stuff all the
Yeah.
time.
Is that what you're trying to fix by yelling at the listener when he did that? You're like, we're shaming him in order to almost elevate ourselves.
I just don't understand.
Oh, yeah.
How,
Like, how could you forget about us?
Right. Well,
No,
I mean,
we're
like
not.
a little bit.
No, that he's taking it like that. How could you just forget about a show you listened to for so long and you were going to be a part of it one day? You would think that
Seems like not that important to them.
That's yeah.
But how
yeah.
can it not be if you like? Okay,
This was my
What's his
take.
point?
Not to redo it again, but this is my take.
yeah.
I don't think it matters that much to him. I think he says it to us because he wants it to matter. But I think if we're feet to the fire, it doesn't matter. It'd be like when you finally talk to somebody and you're like, and then they just go, "I don't love you," right? It's like that.
I can't accept it because here's the thing.
That's fair.
I can't accept it because he proved that it mattered because unless he's lying
That's
that he
what I
listened or that he listened for 10 years.
Well, I mean, like he doesn't like. I don't think he's a everyday. Oh, new shows out, play. Like I don't think he's that guy.
Sure,
because if he
casual.
was,
Listening casually for 10 years.
okay.
Yeah. So he's telling us he listened longer in an attempt to like be in our favor, but he's not really putting in the work to truly be in our favor.
Okay, back
That's what I think.
when there was no podcast pre-internet.
Yes.
On the weekends, I would listen to the Magic Mechanic.
Yes.
Okay, follow me
Okay.
here. So I listened to it only because it was the only talk radio on Saturday.
Yeah.
So I'm driving.
They still do that, by the way.
know-
They still not that show, but there are still shows like that play.
Because I just want to hear people talk. All right, and
Right.
some people
it's
like
comforting
that, right?
sometimes. Yeah, it's
And-
like having a friend with you.
And
Sure.
even if it's about a subject I don't even care about.
Had a
like,
guy email us today that says he just likes having ACT on because it makes his day go better. It's like
There you
having
go.
friends around.
Whatever.
I get it.
And when I would drive, I like to listen to talk, and then the pre.
Where are you going with this?
Anyway, Magic Mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know if it's still on or is it still a thing.
I don't
right?
think it's still a thing.
But let's just say that it like revamped. It's on a new station.
It's
and,
done
Back
all
better than
new.
ever.
Yeah, the all new Magic Mechanic.
And then somehow,
more magic.
they wanted me to call in and tell a story about how I changed my alternator on
Talk
my
about
old
your
truck.
blue truck. Yeah. At
Yeah.
the time you drove it on the NASCAR track and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
like started smoking.
And then their producer told me, all right, Friday
Their producer's old Shannon Burke producer, Colin.
yeah, at 10 a.m., you're going to call in and tell your story about fixing your alternator in your truck,
Yeah.
right?
We need you there 5 minutes early. Call in.
I would think about the fact that I'm calling in the Magic Mechanic, even though I haven't listened in 10 years
Yeah,
or whatever.
you'd be
and it's like-
pumped.
or not even that I'd be pumped, but I would think, well, I have to, like, don't leave them, like like.
But what if you got drunk and shot off fireworks all night the night before?
I would,
Yeah.
but I'd set my alarm to make sure that I called in at 10 a.m. because I'm going on this show.
Okay.
And
But you're thinking as someone who has done content for years. These people are just casual listeners that are like, oh, I'll call and chat about this scam story or whatever. And then it literally probably just disappears in their brain.
But it should be more special for them.
No.
How many shows do you do? Like, I do
know.
1,000 shows. So it should be a nothing to go on another show because I do a show.
I know.
But for these people, it's their one chance to be on a show.
I know, we're going to do it again. Yeah, okay, we're going to stop. I got to do you might yell about this one too. Let's just yell. Let's yell. You might yell about this one too.
wins.
I mean,
I got a new one.
Could be wrong.
I don't disagree with you. I'm trying to figure it out. This one I'm going to yell, okay?
Okay.
You yelled a little bit. I'm going to yell this time. My turn.
He is the old Italian nut. It makes me mad. I was like, these nuts is an old 90s joke that an old man said.
No, it's not, Tom. Look up These Nuts Vine. I don't know. I know you've talked about the old Italian nut company before, but these nuts, in terms of the younger generation, mean something completely different. It's an old vine, which is...
No, it's not. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It means the same
Yeah,
joke,
it means
right?
it's the same joke. It's about your scrotum. That's what it is. You don't sit here and you're not gonna school me on scrotum jokes, old man. So I'm gonna yell for a second. Yes, Tom is right. The joke has been around like, the old Snoop Dogg. It was on the Snoop Dogg album, remember?
Yeah.
Did what's his name get with you?
You and Drew used to
I
do
was
it in
gonna
the
say,
90s.
I remember the 2 CDs.
But it wasn't me and Drew.
Oh, yeah,
it was
CDs
Snoop
nuts.
Dogg. It was
Yeah.
culture. I
Okay,
didn't
yeah.
don't even know. This was like
I know,
something in culture. It was like, hey, did what's his name get with it? That was the thing. And by the way, if you're gonna start saying it again, please say it like that. Don't just yell D's nuts. That's dumb. You got to go D's nuts. I don't want easy. You got to do it like that. You got to put that fluffy kind of a silliness in it.
Yeah.
And there was a company that advertised with real radio on the Monsters called Papa D's Nuts. It was sold at 7-Elevens, and this was like late 2000s. And you, I think, were the point man for it. And it was Papa D's
Don't
Nuts
bring
in
it
your
up.
mouth, and it was a whole thing. And that I'm not saying that's where it started, but it didn't start with an old Vine. That's wrong. It's incorrect. It started way back in the day. It's way older than Vine. It's not Vine. You're wrong, sir. Calling up here, playing a drop of us, and then having the audacity to come in here like you're toe biting me. And what I mean by that is I hate it when people come with what they think is the knowledge and you don't have the knowledge. You're wrong.
Well, the fact that he said it means something different, it's the same.
It's the same joke.
Like it means
It's a balls joke. That's
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
It's not even a joke.
Is it different? Like when
No.
when
Maisie says it, says the boys say it, they're talking about. We know what they're talking about.
like Mr. Beast bar,
Yes,
the
it's
D's
a
Nuts bar.
scrotum.
That's the joke, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't.
100%.
The joke's not something different.
No.
Okay, same thing.
What could it be? I mean,
Yeah, that's.
It's not. It's the lowest hanging, pardon pun
Yes.
intended, fruit of all time. It's literally what. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why
Yeah,
we
it's a
mocked
little-
it, because we're like, oh my God, we have to do these reads for these Papa D's nuts in your mouth thing.
Also, this is an old man. Like I was like, they sell it on 7-Eleven.
Yeah, they do.
Because I was like,
The first thing I
and then
said
I'm
to
like,
Andrea-
Then I let my son say it. Now I'm like, well, the 7-Eleven said it's fine.
Yeah, because that's the new parent to 7-Eleven. I looked at my daughter.
Mr. 11 says these nuts is fine.
I looked at my wife. Let's just show you how old I am, Sam. I looked at my wife. We walked in there, and then he's got these Mr. Beast Feastables are everywhere. And by the way, he's shutting up his Mr. Beast burger. That is now done. He's concentrating just on Feastables.
oh.
He's shutting all the stores
More
down.
money.
Yeah, it is. It's more money. And then one of the Feastables is like a peanut flavored one, and it says these nuts. And then I saw it at 7-Eleven. I looked at Andrea and I said, that is inappropriate. I'm a dumb old man, right?
Well, yeah.
The answer is yes. The answer is yes.
You know why Mr. Beast shut down his burger thing?
Consistency.
He couldn't.
He couldn't control the consistency all over the globe.
Because
So
everybody's doing a little bit different, and
Yeah.
with branding, you don't never want that, right? So
No.
then now he can control everything if he just makes it
Yeah.
in the
and
factory.
they
All
can just
when the
make it in the factory, put it in the Walmart.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and get a personality. Like do smile once in your life. Good Lord, man, you don't look happy. I want him to be really happy, and he does not look.
I think he's like
baseline.
a saturation diver.
Yeah, I was
of
gonna
the-
say.
of
I think you're
YouTube.
right.
Yeah. He's
I
on
think you're right.
he's on the spectrum,
He is.
and he's just really good at making money and figured out the YouTube thing, and it's easy for him.
And
to
he's just
pump
gonna
this
keep
content
doing
out?
it.
When will he age out?
That's a good question.
He's smart enough, I think, to tailor his shows. I think he's already I think you'll probably see him in the next little bit. This would just be my idea is him do bigger and more grandiose things that he's really into, and then the other channels will end up just be run by his teams producing content for kids like that or young adults.
Or another company will buy his content and he'll stop working as hard, but maybe he doesn't want to do that. I don't know. Like it's kind of like
I think he likes making them.
You saw like Pat McAfee, ESPN bought him out, and that was someone that was huge in sports and making his own content, and then eventually a giant conglomerate like ESPN has enough money to be like, all right, we'll do all the work, and here's a life-changing and generational amount of money that nobody in your entire family for the history of time will ever have to work again, and now you could do less work and have life-changing money. And he's like, all right. Right? That's what happened. Yeah. And he's I'll take it. Like, I thought about that.
I don't think that'll happen with Mr. Beast because I don't think he wants anybody running whatever he has. I mean, they may take the channel and make it into something else. Yeah. But I think he would want to, I think he's kind of protective of his image and name. And
do you think he'll start shifting to healthier snacks and food since he did this whole body transformation thing?
Oh, yeah. He's all pumped now, right?
Yeah, pumped, but he lost weight and he's a little toner than he was.
Yeah,
he's not like ripped or anything.
He's on Ozempic too, and he's not eating the peanut Deez nuts flavored candies that he makes.
He likes the money, and the money is in junk food. And he knows that making health food will not bring.
I mean, most of the people that watch
money.
his videos, are not. Like CrossFitters.
Yeah,
there's a section of Walmart humans in North America that are his guys, right? And he's fueled by them.
Sell them candy.
Yeah.
Like
the
money's in the
everybody.
candy.
Deez nuts for okay. Let's do this one here.
Hello, Tom, Dan, and Sam. This is BDM Simone, a.k.a. Boobs McClanahan, or hashtag Big Ol' Greasers.
I have to stop right there because that's your fault.
That is your fault.
One time back in the day, Tom referred to Simone, who has been one of our longest listeners.
I think it was you.
And a female listener.
No, it was definitely. She had posted a photo in the BDM group of her in a pool on a floaty.
And she was doing the responsible thing and wearing sunscreen like you're supposed to do.
So they were glistening.
And she had what you refer to as big old greasers. That's pretty great. I gotta give. You know what? Give yourself a raise. All right, we'll continue.
And this is kind of a really old topic, but at some point you guys were talking about Tom doing a triathlon, and not necessarily doing like a full-blown crazy Ironman like his brother-in-law or like Chris Nikic, but just doing like a standard sprint triathlon. And I will say that it is incredibly achievable. The local triathlons here are, it really depends, like between a 400 and 600 yard swim, a 12-mile bike, and a 5K. Now, the bike does typically have a lot of hills because it's going to be out in Claremont. The 5K will be on flat area, so it's easy breezy. But it's something that's very achievable for somebody who may not be super into the sport, but is just trying it out. I actually did my first one on a
pause for a second. So it's funny that she's talking about this because I went through this entire scenario and it has to do with Simone in my head. And follow me with this.
Oh, you went through a greaser.
Yeah.
So you want to be trained by her like she helped her train Chris Nikic, and you went 1% greasier.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
As somebody else with
1% greasier.
As somebody else with big old greasers, I don't know how she runs that long. I'm not running.
And she's a runner. Like she is like in the
running
sport.
Clubs.
Yeah, she's in the sport and has been the entire time we've known her, right?
So Simone is into triathlons and training people and trained Chris Nikic as part of his Ironman.
And he's there. Like he is like a top tier athlete now. And is inspired. Have you seen the other group of people with Down syndrome that are with him now?
No.
I think
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
got 3 other guys.
It's
that
amazing
are,
what
that
he's
are
done
like
now.
participating with him, and he's now training them. It's so dope.
Stronger than I'll ever be.
Oh, he's a beast. He's a
but
beast.
so I was sitting there the other day, and I was like,
I wonder what Simone's been
no,
up to.
well, you know, I tried to swim because I in my
yeah,
pool.
you were telling me this yesterday.
and I was like, I can't. I'm so stiff.
you can't move your legs.
Well, first,
it's like arm pulling.
I'm so stiff that when I go to take a breath, like my whole
lungs
body,
are stiff.
my whole body has to
Stiff
move.
lungs.
Doing the goddamn Frankenstein while you're swimming?
Yeah,
He has to turn his whole body over to get a breath, like a barrel.
And you were trying to bring out
Like a
small
log.
children out to a sandbar.
He has to
Yeah.
roll like a log.
Oh, my
He has to
God.
roll completely over.
In my mind, I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
swimming real good.
Yeah, but you look like a taquito.
but I
You're just
can't-
going in a circle.
I can't.
Oh, please tell me there's video of this.
No,
He hasn't started his training videos yet.
But I
But he
can't-
did do a pose down yesterday for a lot of the other wives that were there.
Oh yeah, do
What?
that.
Yeah, I see him. He's like catching himself in the glare, you know.
So
Oh my god.
I swim like a barrel, and I'm so stiff.
Wait, is this the Muhammad Ali thing? Sting like a bee, swim like a barrel?
And I thought to myself, because I was like, man, I need better technique. And then I'm like, who can I?
You need a swim coach.
I'm like, who can I get to train
You
me?
need Jesse
for
from Odang Hummer.
So who can I get to train me? Also for the for probably a deal because they're a
don't
listener,
get the
right?
right
Don't cheap out.
Because if I go to the YMCA, it's gonna be
like
$200.
Crystal's gonna let you train with big
Okay,
old
so-
greasers
so-
every afternoon.
Okay.
It's Tom and Simone.
Okay, so
getting
yes,
greasy
all right.
with it.
So this is
Oh my
this is
God.
where it went.
Wait, am I part of the? I gotta come
No,
over
no.
with my bullhorn because
So-
I gotta be like, you guys are looking great, greasers.
So I'm not joking. This is where it went. So I'm like, I should Facebook message
No,
Simone.
inappropriate.
No,
It's a
she's
married
trained.
woman.
She's
That's
a
a married
trainer.
woman. You're
Who
a married
cares?
man. Inappropriate.
That's her job.
You're not
Or,
supposed to be messaging married women on Messenger.
No, it's 2023.
You're pretty close.
You
You're gonna
can do whatever
have
you-
Tom and Crystal Van.
business.
You're gonna have your own
I can-
Tom and Crystal Van Facebook. You're about this close to having that.
Yeah.
So
Can't be messaging ladies.
I thought to myself, I'll just message Simone and she can train me at the local
The local
pool.
Greece. She could train me at Sapotniks for
Yeah.
cabbage coleslaw
And,
wrestling.
just like Chris Nickett,
You
she
can't
could
train
train
You
me
can't
swimming.
train at the Baldwin pool.
It ain't-
Not allowed. I will not give you my key fob.
No, she's
Not allowed.
got a facility. I see it like she goes to a facility.
That's her home pool.
And anyway, no, it's not. It's a whole
Yeah.
Olympics.
Are you
thing.
leaning into the special needs here?
No.
To have you trained?
No, but
Okay.
it does.
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, but it does give her a set of skills that helps me.
She's patient.
It doesn't not help me.
Right.
Yeah, she has
So-
top tier patience.
But anyway, she could help me swim. So then I went
Float with her for sure.
So
Well.
I went even further. So like thinking,
my greasers with your mouth.
if I did do this, she'll help me train and whatever, and then inevitably.
I'd like to thank a few people.
That,
I'd like to thank some people that made me get this 5K done. First of all, I'd like to thank my trainer, Greasers.
no. And
Remember when you called her Brittany? God.
Sam's got a file.
Well,
of
you got
bad
two
things.
first names. Anyway, so inevitably she'll post a picture on her Facebook like, I'm so proud of Tom.
I'm
and
training him.
I'm gonna be in their pool like out of breath.
This is your fantasy
Hey,
that she's
no.
going to post pictures of you and how proud
no,
she is?
no, and then there's gonna
This
be
is a weird ass fantasy, man.
What were you doing when you were thinking about this?
no, it's
Staring
not.
off into space. We were all around him. He was grilling. We
It's-
were just staring off into space thinking about this.
It's not a fantasy. It's what will happen. And
This is a long thought process, though.
she'll post a
It only
pic,
takes about 30 seconds when it's happening.
and I'll be in the background huffing and puffing. She's trained. She's a business trainer. She's doing the
Yeah.
Okay. Business trainer.
But she does have the greasers, and they'll be in the
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
And if there's some photo of her and the greasers and me in the background,
Yeah, you're done.
The crow is gonna yell
Yeah,
at me.
crow
and,
hates greasers.
Yeah, and she's gonna be like, "What?" Yeah, I mean, it'll
I
never,
thought you were training.
It'll never. I mean, not worth the constant her like thinking that somehow
See, you could just
I
get another
like this.
trainer.
Huh?
I mean,
Yeah, but there's no other for free.
Oh, now it's free. First it was a discount. Now
Not
it's
for
free.
but I plug whatever she's got. You know what I'm saying? That's like, no.
Oh my
No,
God! You
I'm in-
can't say
I'm in
that.
business.
Yeah, I
A
would
business.
too. I would plug what I'd
no,
plug it too.
No, it's a business. No,
Yeah, it's a very business.
no, it's not like
it's a good.
yeah,
The business is good.
And see, we can't. Even,
Business is good.
I can't
Let
even.
me say, yes.
Even if Crystal was cool with it, I can't because you guys will,
No,
especially
I'm
Daniel.
I'm going there. I'm
no,
helping you train.
no, you can't stop yourself.
Stop.
Yeah. And then her husband will beat me up. He's a big
gentle
bearded
giant.
man.
Gentle
No,
giant.
he could drop me on my head.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times. Gentle giant.
No.
And he might be down for it.
And because you can't stop
Yeah.
making
He might
jokes
be
about
down
the
for it.
greasers.
It might be a Mr. Bob scenario.
And so
You
no
never
one.
know.
And then if anybody posted pictures of our
Oh,
training,
you're gonna make jokes in front of her about it?
No,
Oh,
you
you're
guys
saying
will make
I
jokes.
would.
Yeah, everybody
No,
will make
not
jokes.
In front of her.
and
You're
then,
crazy.
No,
I
you'll
would
make it on
never-
the show.
On the show, yeah. That's what we do. We do a comedy show.
But then it leaks out, and then
We're doing it right
Oh,
now.
what's
someone
leaking
said.
out? Grease?
Yeah. Don't leak the
My
grease.
God.
Yeah, and can I focus on my
Yeah,
swimming?
I can't focus on it.
Like how?
Yeah, I can't even. I had to unfriend her on Facebook. I can't even look at the page anymore.
And what if like a trainer-student relationship that happens?
Blurred lines.
You
Yeah.
mean like you
you
become like a
like
Stockholm syndrome where you fall in love with her?
Like she seduces me. In the pool.
It's the chat
They
already
called
called.
it. The
The
chat
chat
called
said
it.
that you were going to say inevitably she'll seduce me. She's calling in right now.
Like,
Oh no, that's
Line 2. Line 2, baby.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
That's not good. Hello, Simone. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yay. Now, I don't know if you got the rundown on what's been talked about on the
Yeah.
show here, but
I did not. Fill me in.
Okay,
Okay.
Simone. So
we just played your voicemail about the triathlon.
So I am going to do a triathlon, a sprint triathlon in June of next year called the Pineapple Man. It's in Melbourne.
Now, hold on.
I'm familiar with that race.
Yeah.
Is it a swingers triathlon?
no.
Okay.
Pineapple
It's
Man.
Mr. Pineapple. Is,
Yeah, come for the pineapple, stay for the grease. I know this. I've been to Pineapple Man before.
No, it's just a fun thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's
for
fun.
Charity.
Yeah, ruins your relationship, tear your family apart.
And, the sprint triathlon is, we went there to visit friends and family and Jetson and his wife and everybody.
And they were doing it.
And they all did it. So we were hanging out in the pool after barbecuing, and they convinced me, like, yeah, you could do it. Which, by the way, when someone an Ironman tells you, you're like, you don't understand how out of shape I am, really.
Right.
I'm working out and taking Adderall so I could not be morbidly obese.
It's also a lot of stuff you don't normally do. Like, you're not a cyclist.
No,
and
I don't know anything about swimming.
I think you can
thought
do
I
the
knew
running.
swimming.
The
and
running you
stiff.
can do. The running you can do, I think. You'll blood out of running.
Yeah, but it's at the end of all the other work.
You'll be
and
fine.
my legs. Anyway, so Simone, I did think about my swimming is poor, and you need to have better technique when you're swimming to be able to do this, even though it's 0.25 miles and it's not much.
A long way,
but
man.
it's in the intercoastal, so it's not like you're swimming laps in a pool. You're like in the intercoastal water. There's waves. It's more stressful than
All right,
swimming.
what are you
Get
gonna,
to the point.
What are you going to ask her?
So I thought Simone could train me, and you've trained people, obviously Chris, but other people to swim and do triathlons.
And he
correct?
was more concerned about if he would be able to focus on training.
No, that's not true. I said I was concerned about if Simone takes a picture of training me,
Yeah.
then the jokes on the internet. Because no one can keep it to
it's
themselves
only on
and
the
be
internet.
professional.
It's not certainly not. He would never look at you that way.
No,
It'll be the big old greasers coming.
Yeah.
But you-
How crazy is it when you hear her say it? I saw your eyebrows go up. It's like a face boner. You got a face boner.
I turned into Red Rogan.
Yeah, you did. You're Red Rogering right now.
If you
Roganing.
put a picture, Simone, a selfie of me and you training at the pool.
If she just stands at the finish line with her greasers out, the race is done, all right?
No.
She's the Great American Greaser.
all the internet talking mad ass, and then my wife gets mad, and she's like,
well,
"What
that
are you
we
doing?"
can't do anything about the wife getting
Yeah,
mad.
but it's
the race for the greasers is happening.
No one can be professional, and Simone's a
I do
professional.
wear a one piece, a long sleeve one piece when I train for triathlons and stuff like that. So I'm fully covered. You don't have to worry about the greasers.
Yeah, but they
being on
move.
display.
Like it's not just
That
about
they
the
do.
it's not
Yeah,
just
but I
about the
think
greasability.
but-
Sometimes it's about the
But I've seen the '90s movies where
the zipper
yeah,
comes
the
out.
zipper-
Yeah.
when you're taking a
She's
break.
not wearing a zipper.
When you're taking a break. the edge of a
Yeah,
pool,
because every
you
big
zip-
busted woman, when they're done exercising, stands next to the
zip-
pool and
And then
releases their breath.
explode out. Yeah.
They have to do
What
that.
I do every time.
Yeah, they have to do it. Sam does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does it.
Not all the way down, but you do do the half move, and
Yeah,
you're
got a
just
little steam out.
It's a half greaser.
Half greasers.
And then you take a picture, and then you put it, and you're being professional. You're like, Tom did good today.
Tom
He
did
swam
I gotta
good
let these
today.
things breathe.
Hashtag half grace.
And then all the BDMs, 1,000
Oh,
jokes,
and they go
they're-
the wolf with the eyeballs popping out, and they're
then
auga.
Yeah. And then it's because of that. Then my wife starts being like, "What are you doing? What are you looking at over there?
Well, you know.
Are you training or is this what's happening?" And then someone, how could that ever happen?
That I can't help you with. I'm happy to train you. I say we do a go-to show.
Yes.
We can do like 2. We can do 1 in a pool because there's some skills I can
I'm
teach
down
you
for
in
that.
the pool. But one that would probably be the most beneficial to you is there's a lake called Lucky's Lake out by Universal, and I go there every Friday morning.
Lucky Lake?
Wait, you can't go to Lucky Lake with big old greasers.
This sounds like an Alan Jackson song. I got pyramid of cans outside of
You
Lucky
cannot
Lake.
do that, dude.
So I'm just gonna go to Lucky Lake with you
No.
and then train at
No.
Lucky Lake.
I took the greasers to Lucky Lake and I got lucky.
Well, it is a good place to get used to open water swimming and the different techniques involved in open water swimming.
with your newfound nudity.
Yeah.
Let the greasers
so, you know.
breathe.
So
Full grease.
we like, do we meet there or do we go in the same car?
You don't have to go in the same car.
Well, I don't know.
I think we need to go in the
Although
same
I
car.
don't live far from you. I mean, we could meet there,
Carpool.
though.
Now you're traveling.
Yeah,
with
look
her.
at that.
Yeah, so and then we,
Yeah.
do we eat
How
our Wawa
awkward, how
subs?
awkward are those conversations on the ride over?
Yeah. Do
What'd you get on your wall?
I change into my board shorts in the back with the
I think
towel?
you gotta wear a Speedo, right?
No, he doesn't. He wears jammers. You gotta wear jammers.
You could wear whatever kind of suit you want. I
He's-
wouldn't recommend board shorts. They're going to drag you down. I'd
Exactly.
probably wear.
He's faster
either
nude
like
because of this Manscaped deal we got going.
You can't do nude. You
This
can't.
guy's psycho for the Manscaped
I
product.
put on my super tight jammers, which poofs my muffin out, by the way.
You gotta get a bigger size.
Well,
It's like someone squeezing a water balloon.
if you're doing a tri, you have to get a tri kit, which is something that's suitable for wearing for swimming, biking, and running. 'cause it's
Oh,
not
we're
like
gonna
you
see
have
your
time
ding
to
dong.
change
He'll never do it because we're gonna end up seeing your ding dong.
Yeah. Why does that have to be so tight? Does
Yeah,
it have to be
has
that
to
tight?
be tight. Yeah, and they check
no,
it too.
it doesn't have to be that tight.
You
I
can't
don't-
wear
I
a
don't feel lot
baggy
of
one.
ding-dongs
If you wear a
when I do
baggy one,
this.
you're
You don't
Mitt
want
Romney.
Dee's nuts falling out.
Yeah. Oh, here he comes.
Yeah, but Daniel's right. You see your belly.
Yeah, you see the whole thing,
Yeah.
and the way that you shave it, you see the veins, you see the hair, individual hairs. It's like
I
somebody.
don't know. Maybe there's a tucking technique. I don't
no, he
usually
can't
see
do
them
that.
at these
Tom's
races.
is like a food saver. It's so tight. You can see the individual hair follicles.
But Simone, I have thought about this, and I'm like, Simone could train
Yeah,
me.
you told us the whole time you've been
and-
thinking about Simone by your pool
Thank
training.
God.
No. But if and it would just be business. But the whole internet, my wife,
Yeah.
Daniel can't keep his mouth
Yeah, I
shut.
can't.
Everyone's
I
just
really
making
can't.
jokes the whole time, and then. And then what if we are at the lake after a hard day
Yeah.
of training,
And you're
we're
like,
both married happily?
Yeah. You're both married happily, but you're like,
But
let's, what would really calm me down is just a
No,
proper
no.
69.
No, come on. But that's how it happens. Like, it happens with the trainer student. Like, you're sitting there, I'm in my truck, we're eating a Wawa
And then you
sub.
try to kiss her.
How
She's like,
romantic.
she does
It is
everything.
Hoagie Fest.
Yeah, and it's like when Rudy
offense,
when
hard
Rudy
pass.
goes to kiss the head cheerleader, and then she's like,
Yeah.
Rudy, she pushes her face away.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
like, this unfortunate tried to kiss me.
Yeah, because I don't understand. I just get out of control.
Because you're out of control horny. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you're really
I
horny
thought you
because
loved me.
your testosterone's been pumping.
Because
Maybe we should drive separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in my mind, you spend all this effort like trying to
Yeah,
make
why
you
else would
better.
you do this unless you want to
Unless
purchase
you
a
love me.
nice
Yeah.
Lucky Lake 69?
Does that happen, Simone? Where, like,
No, it does
No.
not happen.
It doesn't.
No, I have trained a lot of people both with and without special needs, and that has not ever happened.
There you
All
go.
right,
All right.
okay.
Okay.
Well, Simone.
Well, it's bound to happen with time.
no, I'll never
well,
do
now
that.
you know what to look forward to.
Yeah. So Simone, I'll shoot you a message if I have to discuss it
I
with
wouldn't
my
do
wife.
it,
I
no.
would do email so it's more
But
professional.
Simone could talk to. Simone has talked to Crystal multiple times on
Yeah.
the,
But
cruises
not
and
about
stuff.
like, but not
Side
a,
chicks meetups.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
and Simone's like, I've trained people before. Let me train, and maybe we'll do it together.
I think
'cause
I could
Crystal,
train you. I think I could do it. I just read how to do it. I stand on the side with my bullhorn. I'm like, run faster, you POS.
Yeah.
I was like, you want to do this or not?
How do you help my stiff swimming, Simone? Because I can't lift my head to take a breath.
You may need to do some stretching. That's going to be
say.
a little bit difficult. But I've got some techniques and different drills that I can show you that'll help.
Luckily.
If you start doing the frog swim or the backstroke, everybody makes fun of you, right? You have to do freestyle the whole time.
Yeah, you should be doing a proper swim to cut through the water.
No, not necessarily. People will look at you weird if you do backstroke, although there are people who will. But a lot of people, especially in a sprint, which is a newer, or rather a shorter distance, will do some breaststroke because it's, more relaxing. They get tired, or, they may not have a lot of expertise or what have you.
I'm fastest
really
backstroke.
looking.
Backstroke was always my best stroke.
Again, it's hard to get my arms around that go sideways.
You got bad shoulders.
I can't get them
you're
back.
More like,
It's like a sideways.
Little circles.
Yeah. And then I feel like I'm gonna stop and be like just treading water.
Help! That's the one thing you can't do in a triathlon.
No, I'll never
You're
yell
out there
for
in the
help.
middle going, help!
I'll never yell
I'm
for help.
Exhausted.
Just
Help!
drown.
I'll die before I yell
I
for
know,
help.
I know.
The embarrassment of
Yeah.
someone jumping in to
I
save
know,
me.
that's called the ocean gate.
Then they all,
Help.
all the other contestants and my family sees me. They're like, "Oh my God, embarrassment!" I'm like, I can't. I'll die before I yell for
Well,
help.
Simone, thank you for calling. We appreciate you. Tom, it does look like he's going to do the Pineapple Man challenge.
Yeah. So how should I start training now or like 2 weeks before? What are we talking?
When's the race?
It's June of next year.
Yeah.
So almost a full year.
I'd give yourself like maybe 4 months or so ahead of time to train, but you may want to start stretching now since you're so stiff.
Yeah, why stretch now when you can do it all tomorrow?
That's what I say. All right, Simone, thanks for calling her.
Yeah,
We
you're the
appreciate
best. We'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Bye, guys.
Later. Oh, she's so sweet.
Anyway,
Did a lot of bad there.
I'm excited for you, buddy. So you did decide you're gonna give it a go.
Well,
I would have thought you started with one of those tough mutters where they hang the electroprods down, and those ones that fat guys are doing for a while, where you run through and then they spray you with colored chalk.
Yeah.
And as you're running through with colored chalk in your eyes, they're tasing you with like dangles. I'm like, get your dangles off of me. I'm dying. I'm trying to raise money for cancer.
By the way, you're jumping in a hot mud. How is nobody worried about the amoebas in that puddle?
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
I know.
Yeah,
Do they
like-
truck in that mud? These are
there's-
professional companies, right?
They just dig holes and spray a
But
hose
I think
in
those
there.
are professional people that come around the country. They're like, we're putting on the Tough Mudder Tulsa. And they dig the
Yeah,
hole and
yeah.
they wet it.
Yeah, but all they do is like fill a hole with mud. It sits there for days, brewing up. It's hot, right? Imagine how hot it is just sitting in the Florida
that's
sun.
the stinky mud.
No, I don't.
And then
wanna
what's
do 'em.
with the prods? Why do you got to have the dangles, the electrical dangles?
Don't know.
Why do they do that?
Makes you tough.
Because
Yeah.
I've had a couple of people like when I was younger, they'd be like, Dan, you should do the extreme race or whatever. I was like, oh, that's cool. What do you do? And they like, you climb the thing. Oh, that looks fun. And then you got one section you run through, and they dangle cattle prods that blow you out of the mud. And I'm like, well, that's not fun. I don't
Yeah.
want to do that. That's not a test of how good I am as an athlete.
But it's a test of like, are you tough enough
For
to
the
take
cattle
the
prods.
cattle prods and to run through the mud and do all that?
I
Then you
guess.
get after drink a Miller Lite.
I got mud, cattle prod mud.
Yeah, you get a trophy and you're like, I've done something.
I have chalk on my face.
Yeah.
All right, let's do one more of these. Okay, do you want to do the trailer anymore?
Trailer.
I mean, there's
Oh, the
so
boat
many
trailer.
trailers.
Oh,
So many. We got this
Still
guy.
ongoing,
Just tell
I'm
me if you want to
assuming.
stop it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Ben with a Y here. Hey, I was listening to the best of ACT, and Tom was talking about his boat trailer registration, and I remember him saying he needed to have a cop sign an affidavit proving that the serial number on the boat matches whatever they have in the system. So I think he even talked himself into the resolution on this last week's best of ACT, which means you drive around with the affidavit until you get pulled over. And then when you get pulled over for not having a registered boat trailer, then you could show him the affidavit and get that cop to sign it for you. And then you could kill two birds with one stone. Even though you may get a ticket, at least he can verify that your trailer is legit, what it says it's supposed to be. Anyway, love you guys. Bye.
I mean, I'd say that's a better voicemail than some of the other ones we had.
Well, he probably didn't hear the rest of it. There is no serial number. So it does not matter. Going back to the old saying it's homemade.
Good idea, but
which I still have to do. But I gotta go read a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna show up to DMV and just start lying to their face, and they're gonna be like,
I thought Crystal was calling and asking.
I asked her
I
to.
think you should
but
take
she didn't do
Simone
it.
with you to the DMV. You take Simone to the DMV and have those greasers out.
She didn't do it, and if I remind her, like, "Hey, did you do this?" It's a personal attack. That I
Why
thought.
don't you just do
No,
it?
no. Say this. Say, hey, Tommy was talking to me, and he was like, I don't think Mommy did the. Like, blame it on somebody else.
I could do it.
Get one of the boys. to
Don't
ask.
bring the boys into it; she'll kill you.
Get the boys to ask. Have the boys go like, did you take it to the DMV? Like, get them to do it.
I'm so tired of looking at like Reddit pages of people explaining stuff that I can't look at it anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just need them to tell me what. Like
Call and ask. They don't have to know it's you.
What do I put the chic voice? I've been working
No,
on
you
it.
just you don't have to tell them your name.
I
just
would
be like, hey, I have a
to
quick
hear-
question.
Give me.
Well, all I got down is the hello.
Thank you for calling Boat. Or where am I calling? DMV.
The DMV.
Thank you for calling the Seminole. Oh wait, hold on. Thank you for calling the Seminole County DMV. This is Chester, no last name speaking.
Hello.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hello,
I-
this is the Sheik.
I haven't got that part
I
yet.
envision
Just
it being
go
like,
hello.
hello, this is the Sheik, because you can't go Middle Eastern and you can go hyper-European.
Yeah. More Iron Sheik. And I'm going Iron Sheik is the
Oh.
character. Oh, you know, say some questionable
yeah, I
things.
don't think I would do that one. One more. Let's do this guy right here. I think it's
Tom
Kenny.
and Dan and Sam. Hey guys, it's Kenny. Y'all were talking about Liquid Death and their crazy marketing tactics. I'm surprised you guys didn't mention, like, a year or so ago, they got in trouble for running a Super Bowl commercial where it was a bunch of, like, 8, 9-year-old kids, and they were raging, having a party, but they were drinking Liquid Death. But they were kind of doing, the metaphor that they were all getting drunk and getting crazy because they were smashing stuff and just getting destroyed and, passing out and stuff, even though they were all just drinking water. So they got in some controversy about that. And then they also had a commercial with porn star Sherry DeVille. And basically she goes, hey guys, I'm Sherry DeVille. I'm a porn star, so I know a lot about effing. And that's why I like Liquid Death, because they don't F with the earth. And, obviously talking about the recycling and not, doing plastic bottles. So that's just kind of like the insanity that they do. And to be honest, it works because clearly they make a crap ton of money. But anyway, you guys should check those commercials out. Love you.
They're
Bye.
still not big water, though, right? Like
Not quite. No.
I would imagine that what Dasani does in one day compared to Liquid Death is like it would blow our
Oh,
minds.
yeah.
Like
It's like a craft beer.
And they have like big corporate, which although Liquid Death is moving up on that,
it is.
Yeah,
getting a lot of corporate clients.
but it's like a big craft beer compared to Miller Coors.
It's like the
right.
Sam Adams of water.
Yeah.
Almost.
Like it's impossible for them to ever get as big. I mean, we're talking the gigantic
They have no head start.
mega corporations.
Yeah, I mean,
although the controversy stuff, like more and more, I see companies like purposefully like release stories after something happened to get them more marketing that are fabricated by them. So it'll be backlash that they created about themselves to create stories for morning shows and podcasts and publicity.
I remember I learned that very early on in the radio business, and it kind of hurt my heart a little bit when we were like pumping up our own bit because it wasn't working as well. So you're like, hey, we can juice this a little bit by claiming that it's being censored or
I mean, these are smart companies that hire smart people to do smart marketing campaigns that have done this for a long time. And it's like we think we're being manipulated all the time, and we have no idea. Like I really do feel like a lot of companies purposely put out stories, even negative stories about themselves, and like and then just like campaigns, and then like they'll release stories that to like influence society,
just to get their name in the algorithm.
And so lots of that stuff is happening, and we're all just responding to it, thinking it's real, and it's like all contrived. Or not all of it, but a lot of it is contrived.
I mean, when you think about that, they'll go to the extent of publishing the story and then having fake reactions to said story.
The bot reactions
to make you sort of interact with those reactions that you might be going to. Normally, this is my problem with the internet. So I normally go into any interaction thinking that I'm talking to an actual human being. when I don't do that, I have a better relationship with the internet. Does that make sense? Like I do better that way. Because I'm like, you just got to look at it like it's not talking to somebody's face. You don't know what you're getting.
If you go back to like boards and Reddit, and that's even though that's a hellhole sometimes too.
Well, especially with what they're going through now with the third-party apps and going black and all that, it's a mess.
But if you get away from the standard Facebook messaging and or TikTok or whatever messages and go to like real people having conversations,
you'll find good people.
And then you're like, oh, like there's actual information here, people sharing stuff. Like I'll go to boat boards. Or
I got a scooter guy that's doing that right now, and he's like, hey, Facebook, it is what it is. You just got to fight through it, Dan. I'm sorry.
And then everybody's just sharing information with each other like a civilized community, and you're like, oh, this is real. And then the nonsense of social media, everyone's just fighting.
I'll prove that for you. You know that part that I ordered that took forever to come in? Had a guy on one of the boards offer to just send me one. He's like, I have one. I'll send it to you. I'm like, really? I don't even know you, dude. Very nice people. Very nice people.
All right, we will be right back.
All right.
Half a Monday done.
Lunch. What happened?
I just said we got half a Monday done.
Oh, yeah, we were cranking. All right, guys. Have a great